Council Gregor.
Yeah.
3 in attendance.
Is there anybody online at all or public input? No?
There's nobody on paper.
Okay, thank you. Clovis, why don't you take number 2? You can read out number 2. I got it right.
An ordinance in amendment of chapter 410 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pawtucket, 1996, entitled zoning, tax stable, of use and special use permit requirements for retail cannabis establishment.
Motion made by Council Gregor, seconded by Council Kadir, that an ordinance and amendment of chapter 410 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pawtucket, 1996, entitled zoning, text, table of use and special use permit requirements for retail cannabis establishments be put up for discussion. All those in favor? Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Director.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thanks you for coming this evening. Did you want to quarterback this, I guess, and explain everything to us?
Yeah, so basically, it's within the memo I did submit with the ordinance amendment proposal. So the state of Rhode Island has passed the law several years ago, but now it's coming to fruition where they are now going through the process of issuing retail cannabis licenses for facilities within the state. There are 6 zones in the city.
Yep.
I'm sorry, 6 zones in the state.
Yep.
Which have 4 licenses being issued for these facilities. So ultimately, we looked at the ordinance and we just kind of looked like we just want to make sure that we were having some regulations, just some standards to tie to these facilities, just to make sure that we're protecting the citizens of the city and making sure these are in the proper place or to operate within the city boundaries. Other than that, I'm open for questions and looking forward to hearing your feedback.
Did you want to start it on these here, Councilor Gregor, at all? If not, I'll ask a few questions too.
One drink for sir.
Okay. Couple of things, Carl. It's 6 zones per state. I saw that for the state total. So there's 6 zones in the state. There's 4 licenses per zone. There's no more than 4 licenses.
No
per
more
zone
than 4
now.
at this point, yeah.
All right.
Whether or not in the future, but this round of licenses is 4.
So I think we have like 6 or 7 in our zone.
Yeah.
I forget the name.
Actually, it's gonna be 9. If there's 9, there's actually 12.
Really?
12 municipalities in our zone.
Okay.
3 of those municipalities did not have already prohibited these facilities, so they will not be able to even apply for the licenses. So we're down to 9. So basically, it starts with Pawtucket, East Providence, and then goes right down to East Bay, right down to Newport.
All right. So for those 9, you can only allow a total of 4.
Correct.
Together?
Yeah, correct.
So and that could change, I guess, down the line.
Yes.
So it's like a first come, first serve kind of thing. Like I'm not saying, like, say all of a sudden a rash of businesses want to do it in Pawtucket. Like, do we monopolize that and take all 4 if we want to? If it fits?
That's not up to us. It's up to the cannabis control.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yes.
Not us.
Okay.
We have nothing to do with the licensing whatsoever, other than just report
Correct.
on from the zoning perspective, and that's it.
Exactly.
And they make the decision that.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah. So if it, as I understand it, Carl and I have been talking, and I kind of had to educate myself a little bit on it in case you folks had questions tonight. You know, there were 97 applications,
Yeah.
which they are kind of going through now. Who knows how many ultimately they're going to kind of winnow down to, actually qualified. And if it turns out that, let's say, for instance, there were 10 within our zone, and say, putting aside how many are in Pawtucket, they're out of the 24. If it just so happened there were 10 in our zone, that's 6 more than what the regulations allow for. So they would basically have to do a lottery.
A lottery
To
to
determine
select
who
who
gets
gets the
those.
licenses.
Now, how they determine, how they winnow that down, I don't know.
What's the name of that?
Yeah. What's the name of the board?
The
Cannabis
Cannabis
Control
Control
Commission.
Commission,
Okay.
which came about by virtue of statute.
Correct.
Go ahead, Council.
Yeah, no, just so I understand. So it's 6 zones and it's,
In the state.
yeah, and we're part of,
One of them.
yeah, so
We're part of zone 6.
Yes.
I believe it is. It just so happens we're zone 6.
Yeah, which is Barrington, Bristol, Jamestown, Compton, Middletown, New Shore, and Portsmouth. Excuse me, Tiverton, and cities of East Bronx and Newport.
Yeah, Council, not mean to interrupt, but in my memo, Warren was inadvertently, omitted, so Warren is part of our zone as well.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, and out of that list you have, you can basically cross 3 out. You can cross out Barrington, Jamestown, and Little Compton, because I guess by referendum, they opted out
Correct.
back in 21, 22.
22, yeah.
So technically, even though there are 12, there's really only 9 that potentially. Exactly, exactly.
Is the fee? No, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. So I'm just trying to, so I understand that the Cannabis Commission, does the licensing and controls the activities of the business.
Mhm.
However, as far as the zoning part of it and everything else, that would be something that we would be doing.
That's why we're here.
Okay, and they're not exempt from any current zoning that businesses have to be complying with, correct?
This would be a new business, a new use line. That's what we're changing the ordinance. So right now, it's like a fresh business that we're considering where to locate, to allow them by right, to allow them to be established.
No, I understand that, but we have a current business right now. They're subject to our zoning laws, correct?
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
Who's
Okay.
that? When you say that, when you say business, you mean cannabis or just?
Cannabis, yeah.
Well, there's just one.
Mhm.
Are you talking about Mother Earth?
Yes, that's. what I'm
Okay, but
talking
again, you can't, they're not part of this. They're separate and distinct
about. Okay,
because they were a compassion center and the statute allowed existing compassion centers to basically convert, and now it's basically considered a hybrid license. They had to pay an additional fee if they wanted to take advantage of that. They didn't have to. They did. And that's the reason why today, presently, they can sell at retail. But this zoning ordinance, if passed in whatever capacity, wouldn't apply to them in any regard
okay.
because they're already allowed as of right to do the compassion conversion, and they're already duly licensed by the state to do the retail. So we can't go backwards in time now and change what they have and what they are. So,
But there's still gonna be a cannabis distribution.
well, they have always been.
What governs them in a sense?
Yes, which is what I'm trying to understand. That makes no sense to me.
So
Well, they went to the board. They got a special,
Well, yeah, they went to the board to become a compassion center.
yeah,
By statute, any facility in the state who were licensed as a compassion center were automatically able to convert to retail cannabis.
Oh, really?
So, yeah,
so it would basically be statewide preemption. We couldn't legislate around that because technically, by virtue of the state speaking on, even though you're right, typically we control zoning and what happens within our zones unless the state of Rhode Island says we can't.
Mhm.
And in this particular instance, the statute's crystal clear. Anyone who went through the process, whatever that process was, to become a compassion center, automatically statutorily had the right, the option to convert to retail sales as well. So we can't undermine what the state statute dictates.
No, I understand that. I'm talking in terms of zoning conditions.
Yeah.
And that every business, doesn't matter what kind of business you are.
Yeah, no, I thought you were focusing on the compassion center.
No, I'm not. Because I mean, the only thing we do here, we don't regulate it. Even,
Yeah.
It was applicable to this thing. in terms of
Sure.
the license. However, in terms of zoning and complying with our ordinances and everything else,
Mhm.
they are subject to those things, right?
Yeah, I mean, right now, the way the ordinance reads, it doesn't actually allow marijuana retail anywhere.
right.
Our position is, and the ordinance says, if it's not specifically allowed, it's prohibited, which we felt
Yeah.
give
But-
folks an
Right,
opportunity.
and just to back up, so by that state statute, because they already have that compassion license, by state statute, they automatically become legal to do the retail.
Mother,
Right, correct.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's not.
yeah, absolutely, no, I just want to make sure you're clear, and.
Yeah,
just-
no,
yeah.
thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. No, I understand that. We
Yeah.
have nothing to do with.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
license.
absolutely.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
My concern is about having whatever,
Yeah.
whether it's unearthed, whatever else
absolutely.
comes in.
Yeah.
They're gonna comply with our zoning ordinances and our zoning codes and everything else relative to how they operate, because the state regulates their licensing. That has nothing to do with not the city of Pawtucket allows this, so you have living the ordinance, those kinds of things. So I'm talking about in terms of signage,
Yeah.
hours of operation and everything else. So I just want to make sure that these people are not exempted from this, because it wouldn't be fair to have new comers, be subject to one standard and have something else be completely exempted. So I just want to understand.
Well, I think, I just want to just make it clear. So how Mother Earth is running right now is how they can run. So it is gonna be, they do have, because they've already been licensed through the state with their licenses, the hours of operation, their signing and all that. They are, as they're operating today, are operating legally.
But there's not much we can do as far as.
He's asking about any of the new places, any of the retail places.
We have to comply with this. Mother Earth does not.
Yeah, and that's what this proposed ordinance basically
I think that's
is.
where the confusion is.
Yeah,
Perhaps I'm not making myself clear. I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the state regulates, they license it, doesn't regulate the operating hours and all these other things that a municipality would normally do.
I don't
Correct.
know
I just
what
want to understand that that's the case.
Yeah.
there could be licensing conditions. I really didn't sit down and go through, I don't think you did either, Carl. Like, what are all the strict and onerous licensing conditions? The only ones that we kind of gravitate towards are the ones that basically talk about like the proximity issues, that you can't be within X amount of feet of a school. You can't be within a residential zone. Whatever other conditions there might be as far as hours of operation and things of that nature, that I'm not sure of.
Okay.
But again, that would be licensing. Zoning doesn't control hours of operation, generally speaking.
It does say in here, 8 AM to 8 PM.
Yeah, I mean, I say generally speaking. Again, usually it's conditions imposed by the board, things of that nature. I'm not saying you can't legislate that, but it has to be consistent with whatever the state statute.
Can I
Yeah, Mr. President. go ahead.
Are you questioning whether Mother Earth will be bound by this zoning ordinance? Is that really what you're asking?
No, no.
Oh, okay, all right.
Not necessarily. I just want to make sure that they're not over here being completely exempted from following basic things like hours of operation, signage.
Right, they're not getting special treatment, right?
Yes, exactly, because I know the state.
They're not getting special treatment, but they are going to be treated going forward the way they have been treated all along.
Correct.
Sure.
If they're currently open till midnight, they could be open till midnight,
Yeah.
right?
Now also, how does that license, how does that work? I
Because
don't understand that.
Again, let me see if I can take a crack at this. When you say compassion center, you mean dating back to when retail was prohibited, it was medical marijuana, right? And there were X number of compassion centers. And then when the retail legalization passed, part of that said existing compassion centers get the first bite at the apple, basically, to convert to a retail center as well.
Correct.
Wherever they've been and under whatever operational things
Obligations,
right.
prerogatives, yeah.
So go forward and do just as you've been doing as a compassion center, only now you can do it for retail sale to the public.
Yes.
Right? So this has nothing whatsoever to do with that.
Correct.
It's just whenever a
New,
new retail is
Retail
down.
only.
And at the most we could possibly be really thinking about at the moment might be 2, maybe 3, maybe 0. Right?
It's possible.
Because it's 4 total
Mhm.
in 9 different municipalities.
Yeah, I mean, it could be 4, but that would presuppose that there were no other applications in any other
In
jurisdiction.
97.
And I just don't know at this point. We actually looked into that to see if we could get that information because we were curious,
Right.
and they're not divulging.
Yeah,
it yet.
they're just starting a review process now, so they don't have that information first.
So I just have one last question. When they're applying for a retail license, one of those 4 in our zone, do they identify a retail site in their application process, or do they get approved for a license and then go out
No.
and seek?
Yeah, they have to do a site first. They have to have an
Okay, so-
address, yeah.
the Cannabis Control Commission in deciding on who gets 4 licenses in our zone will know where they are proposing, and they will make sure that it abides by a municipal zoning ordinance if one exists. So
Yes.
if we were to pass this.
Yeah.
Before they go to the CCC to get a license, they'll say, it's me and Dave and Rick. We've created, Pot LLC, and we are applying for a license at 15 Main Street in Pawtucket. And it fits this ordinance. That's
So they would be,
exactly how it would
Right.
have to go, right?
so they would require a letter from the zoning department saying that they comply with, as part of their application.
So it's not a, give me a license and I'll find a spot.
No, no.
Exactly.
Give me a license for this spot, and among other things, this spot is okayed by zoning.
Yeah, when they go to the cannabis control and they file their application, the cannabis control needs to know right there at that time,
Okay.
where is your proposed premises and does it satisfy zoning?
Council, good, you had a question, I'll go back to you.
Yeah, I was actually kind of the same question. So I see here that the zoning with the schools, okay. And also, is this only, now you said that it might be only 4 stores?
At this point, it'll be the most, and that's if Pawtucket gets all 4 in the lottery.
Because, yeah, okay.
So
I hope
it could be
it's not-
different.
But
It could be 0 before, yeah.
So only
It's
because
doubtful.
And sorry for my ignorance in this matter. This is weird. But these type of stores, it's only for cannabis,
Yes.
or they also, okay, it's just that.
Yeah.
And okay, I just think that when you mentioned the number 4,
Yeah.
it was like too many. I don't know how.
Yeah, but yeah, again, those 4 could be spread out through the whole East Bay. So, and again,
And
Plus,
before,
yeah.
and like I said, before it's approved, it will be, make sure that is in the area that is actually
Sure.
approved by the.
yes.
Oh,
And just because this is a special use permit, this would actually, if there's an application,
Mhm.
there would be public notice to the 200-foot abutters. So
mhm.
there would be a public meeting as part of that approval as well.
Okay,
Before we go any further, there's someone, Dante, you said there's somebody named Andre, they didn't sign up, somebody's on the line that says they have some input, they could answer some of these questions. I don't know who this person is, I was gonna throw out to the committee, do you want to let this person speak or not? I mean, they didn't sign up, but I don't know, maybe helpful, I don't know.
No.
And you did us that for public input.
Mm,
It was
Your call,
good
Chair.
on that. As soon as I said, we have nobody raised their hand, public input. After that, when I came up on my screen,
All right, I'll let him speak, tell him briefly. We'll
Yeah,
let
I have no problem.
Let him speak. It was that close.
This matter is on council docket.
Well,
Public hearing.
Public hearing and it's also,
He wants to
yeah,
hold off until then if he has something he wants to say.
yeah.
Doesn't, what I'm saying, he doesn't have to sign up for public input by the time, sorry.
Okay.
On this topic, yes.
you want to wait for public input, go a public hearing up there.
I mean, I don't have any problem with hearing what the person has to say.
Yeah, just, we'll let him speak.
Hello, can you hear us, Andre?
Hi, I can hear you guys. Yes. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet everybody. I don't know if you will let me show my face. It may or may not matter. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me. So I'm Dr. Andre Dev. I am someone who is helping support applicants for these licenses. And just to be clear, all the applications were sent in this December 29th. So there are no new applications. And I'm working specifically with applicants who are going for what are called the worker owner cannabis license applications. So like they're in zone 6, so from Pawtucket to all of Aquidneck Island, that's zone 6. There will be one worker co-op license going out. Those are the groups I'm helping support. And so that's why I wanted to come here and talk about this. But I also, because I've been involved in this for a couple of years, have a lot of information about the application process and how it works. And I didn't want you guys, I just wanted to offer if I could answer any of these questions that I would like to try to do that. So I think one thing you guys should know about this process is, yes, there are 4 new licenses going out in all of Zone 6, which is Pawtucket, East Providence, and then basically all of the island. And but one of those is set aside for social equity applicants. One of them is set aside for a worker co-op applicant, and the remaining 2 are set aside for traditional applicants, basically with no restrictions. And it I don't want to sort of speculate onto why this zoning ordinance change has been proposed, but because if I had to guess, just having gone through this process recently, it's because the state did not give you guys enough time to update your ordinance. And as a result, there have been a lot of people from all over the country trying to get properties in Pawtucket to apply for these licenses because you haven't updated your ordinances. And what we are all trying to avoid, myself included, is a situation where Pawtucket ends up with multiple dispensaries run by out-of-state actors who don't care about the community, and really not for any fault of your own. It's just because there wasn't enough time for you guys to update your regulations. So I definitely support you guys updating your regulations. I wanted to suggest that you guys could do something similar to what they've done in Providence that makes some distinction between the regular applicants, frequently from out of state, and social equity and worker co-op applicants who are locals. And I'm just here to answer questions if it's helpful.
So Providence has that right now. They have that distinction in their ordinance.
They do, yeah. They make a distinction between social equity and worker co-op applicants, and they allow them in more zones than they allow traditional applicants. Traditional applicants are just in industrial zones, and the worker co-op and social equity applicants in Providence are allowed, in some cases by right, but also by special permission in commercial zones. Oh, and I do want to be clear about one thing. All of these new licenses we're talking about, unlike Mother Earth, there is no grow or manufacturing of cannabis on the premises. So we're just talking about retail. Everything that comes into the store is already packaged. Everything that's sold remains in its package. That's all required by law. There is no consumption of cannabis on the premises. It is just sales. So when there are people concerned about things like, the smell or like storage of large quantities of cannabis and theft and stuff like that, like the things that we traditionally worry about with cultivation, that's not what we're talking about today. We're only talking about retail.
Is it mandatory in your opinion that we have to have some type of zoning amendment like we're proposing this evening, in order to allow cannabis retail, say in Pawtucket, is it mandatory in your mind that we have to do this now and you get it done?
Well, so listen, I mean, that might be a question that's above my pay grade. I am not an attorney. I'm actually a medical doctor. That's my background, but I'm here basically as an activist on the behalf of people trying to do locally owned cannabis, which Rhode Island is the first in the country who has licenses set aside for worker owned cannabis. So I don't want to give you legal advice. What I have been told is that if a city does not update its ordinance, that they have to use what is the next closest local use. And so basically that would mean that the city of Pawtucket might end up with multiple applicants who have secured real estate in the city, and they've located real estate in the city specifically because you haven't updated your ordinance, right? So you might end up with lots of applicants in Pawtucket. And I know, for instance, a large national chain of it's called a cannabis real estate interest trust, like a cannabis REIT. And they have just let lots of people apply with those licenses, right? And so what I think we're all trying to avoid here, and what would be beneficial to the city to pass an ordinance, is to prevent a bunch of out of state actors who don't really care about the community to show up and try to get these licenses in kind of in bad faith. And I hate to say that publicly, but it is just the truth of how this industry works right now. And I think Rhode Island, to its credit, the Rhode Island the cannabis law in Rhode Island is one of the best at trying to make sure local ownership is there and make sure that like social equity is a part of how we give these licenses out. But we still have to sort of live with the world we're in.
All right, well, thank you. Any questions for him at all?
No, thank you very much. Appreciate you weighing in. Those information we
Sure. I do have one comment. I don't know if this is the time to say it about like which zones maybe should be allowed. But I'm happy to like hang back and talk when it makes sense.
I mean, you could, I mean, we're gonna be having a public hearing on this anyway in a little bit.
Sure.
Which is, this is just the committee right now, then the meeting starts, we do a public hearing, so you're welcome to call back in for the public hearing. And if you have any
Okay.
additional comments you want to make, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that would
Sounds
be
good.
helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys.
All right, thank you.
I was just looking some upcoming meetings. Now, the Cannabis Control Commission is having a meeting on January 16th. So I'm wondering if we should postpone, essentially, and then maybe putting a vote on this thing right now so we see what what updates they may have from the meeting on January 16th. Also, maybe take a look at what the province ordinance looks like, perhaps borrow some of the stuff there to make it more usable.
Well, Kyle, I was gonna say any comments about what he said about, the difference between traditional zones and whether it's out of state people coming in and stuff. I don't know what we think about that. It looks like he was gonna suggest additional zones as opposed to just the industrial ones, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, again, it's up to the council to make that decision, whether they want to move forward tonight or continue it, but I'll just to let you all know, so the Cannabis Control Commission, the applications were submitted on December 29th.
Yep.
There's no further applications going before the Cannabis Commission. They've given all applicants that they've given their have submitted applications until March 1st to get their zoning approval. So we have special use permits being proposed for these uses. The way the zoning board works is next Thursday, January 15th, is a deadline for the end of February meeting. After the February meeting, it's going to be too late for anyone to get their special use permit to show their zoning compliance to go forward with their license. So we're kind of on a short time frame to get this done.
But it still gives us a couple of weeks, though. I mean, I hate to see us rush into this one.
Well, you say a couple of weeks, but it's different with zoning because of the advertising and passage, right, Rick?
Well, you still have to, you would have to have the public hearing tonight.
Yep.
And then you would still need two passages to go forward on this.
Chair, if I
Yeah,
might.
Mr. President.
When he was suggesting has to do with the different types of licenses that, again, the Cannabis Commission will be deciding. We're not deciding. We're just deciding where they could be.
Right.
I think what the doctor was suggesting is that for one type, the owner occupied kind of grower,
Yeah.
whatever, and the other social justice one, that Providence is allowing that one to be in more or less restrictive subset, but I just don't see how that is proper ordinance decision. We're debating where any of them should be.
Right, where they should
What
be.
type of license?
And how do we regulate it?
It's still a retail license, right? It's just who is eligible to get it.
Right.
Well,
Zoning is generally designed about proper placement, right? So I don't think what type of license or what category of license is germane to where we cite it. That's just my own opinion.
Location.
I don't know why we would hold off, especially if it needs two passages, but that's just my own
Yeah.
personal opinion. I'm not a member of the committee, so.
Could I,
Director.
so just, Liz just reminded me that the Cannabis Control Commission did reach out to us and we did send them a copy of this ordinance. They did not respond with any kind of, disagreement with the composition of the ordinance.
And the way I look at it too, you can certainly look into this as it continues to move forward, because I doubt this is going to be the only 24 licenses that I don't know when the next wave would come. But I would feel better knowing we have an ordinance in place that we can always look at further, tweak, amend, do what needs to be done. I would just rather have something in place that actually determines where and under what circumstances from a zoning perspective one can actually carry on.
And Frank,
the
the
thing is-
planning commission's, decision here or their input on this memo, they say the same thing, basically.
Yeah.
They approve it, they would approve it. And then they said, as you go along, you want it. And I think Director, you said it too in your memo about, we'll have to see what happens, as we go along. Things may change from the state level and that, goes down, trickles down to us. We may have to change.
I mean, right
The-
now,
the other thing-
our position is it's not really allowed anywhere because, again, our ordinance says if it's not allowed, it's prohibited. Now, again, honestly, one could argue, well, it is allowed because we're retail just like anyone else. I don't personally, but that's my personal opinion. I don't see it that way. Maybe the council does. My feeling is let's not have that be the position. Let's give folks an opportunity within the city to operate this type of business, but let's control where and under what circumstances from a zoning perspective.
And the thing is, if you give it first passage tonight, and then something happens at that meeting on the 16th, you can always amend it, come back and amend it before second passage on the 21st.
Okay.
So you're not locked in.
Meeting schedule, just like we have been.
Right. It just,
We don't know if anything whatsoever on
Nothing.
their agenda has
Right.
anything whatsoever to do
True.
with zoning of retail establishments.
Well, there's gonna be some statutory changes or updates that which are gonna be proposed or whatever. We don't know any of that stuff. And also, I mean, in terms of the type of retail, I'm not too crazy. I would think most of us would not make it every out of state people who don't care about to come over here and do it all commercial, right? I mean, so I think it does make sense to have some sort of.
But that's the reason
But
why we're doing.
but that is the licensing authority and responsibility of the CCC, not us.
If not, we're gonna have another Mother Earth. Know how they get it or what, or the process.
well, there won't be a
So we're
effect. There won't be
basing
enough.
this discussion on the input of somebody who's helping other folks who are applying. So it's not.
Unbiased.
It's not unbiased, and I don't mean to suggest anything untoward. It's just. He told us what it is he's doing.
Right.
And there's a concern of those applicants, of other applicants coming in too. So.
Right.
Yeah, and again, I'm not
I don't
gonna.
know how that affects.
I'll just throw my 2 cents in. Look, I've been representing the city for 32 years. I've been representing the zoning board. I've given legal advice on zoning. I like to keep zoning neutral. We start getting into who can carry on a certain use here
Right.
versus somebody else. That's just my personal opinion, less probably than a legal opinion, but I just think zoning should be generic. It shouldn't matter who you are, where you come from, whether you are a Rhode Island resident or a Rhode Island entity, you have the right to buy land. Zoning is really just regulating how can you use that land. Now, if the state, from a licensing perspective, wants to make those distinctions statutorily, then let them do that. And by the way, from what I've seen, again, I haven't sat down and scrutinized all of the licensing requirements, but it's fairly onerous. It's not easy. A lot of the things we've baked into the ordinance really find their origin in the current statute in terms of you can't have these things in residential areas. They can't be within 500 feet of a school. It's not easy to get one of these licenses. I'm not necessarily looking to make it impossible, though, which is why we suggested let them come in, get a special use permit. It's not automatically guaranteed that you'll get it, but a special use permit is a heck of a lot easier to get than say a use variance, right? If it's a use variance, you have to basically show that you're being deprived of all beneficial use of it. With the special use permit, you're basically saying, look, I may not automatically be able to do this, but if I meet the criteria, then it's conditionally permitted and I should be allowed to do this. We're suggesting, and planning is agreed, let's start off with the manufacturing zones. We can always decide, you can always decide in the future if you want to expand that beyond manufacturing and allow it in commercial zones or what have you. That's all we're suggesting. Start small.
Yes, that's so much.
See how it works.
Yeah.
And then if you need to expand or change or amend, then by all means do that.
Well, part of my issue is that if you limit this to manufacturing zones only, certain neighborhoods and communities are going to be heavily burdened by this sort of thing. And that's not fair. I have one that doesn't even respect the community. And you're telling me this is the only retail company in here that's not at all regulated by the city. That's what I'm being told, right? We don't control their hours. The state doesn't control their hours. So I don't see how we don't have control over when they should be operating, what type of signage they should be putting up. They're acting like they're weed dealers. All of their signs, all over the highways, insulting to my community. It should be insulting to everybody in here. And even at the art lodge, because my residents, my community is part of yours. And nobody has said anything about that. But quite all, I drive by the other day, their Christmas sign, all Christmas decorations, time to give weed. Oh, get the weed. It's insulting.
Where was
I
that?
don't appreciate that.
Mother Earth?
Mother Earth, absolutely. They have about a dozen signs over there. Though you're telling me we can't control that? The state doesn't control it because I spoke to the Cannabis Commission.
Well, the signs that are on the building that are facing the highway did go to the zoning board and were approved.
You approved the.
I didn't approve
The zoning board did.
So,
Which, if you had an issue, you'd attend the zoning board meeting, you could have actually.
And there was a public hearing and notice
Yeah.
and it was approved.
So
Planning
along the
gave a
lines of
positive
those
advisory.
again are in the state marijuana.
And that was 3 years ago.
Statute, because at first, Rhode Island retailers were prohibited from advertising on billboards. But didn't apply to Massachusetts
Right.
retailers. So, for example, Mother Earth, we all know where it's situated, right? 3 big billboards right across from them on the highway.
Yeah.
Were blaring pot advertisements for a place in Massachusetts, you know, and then they actually, Mother Earth, I think is key component, fought that aspect of the statute. I mean, why say Rhode Island retailers can't advertise in Rhode Island, but Massachusetts retailers, right? So that's
Right.
That gave way to all of the advertising. I agree with you. If I were in the General Assembly, I would not have voted to legalize marijuana.
I
mean,
wouldn't have
because
either.
of all the problems that are, you know, contaminated with
Sure.
with it, right? But and I drive by and see give the gift of weed for Christmas. I
I thought I could
call me
believe
old
that.
fashioned. I don't
believe that.
you know.
Everybody here should be insulted. It's a terrible look for the city of Pawtucket. I got friends who come from New Hampshire and Maine, and they can't believe that they see signs like that, weed drive-through. And I mean,
But
isn't the commission board in charge of who gets drive-through permits? I don't remember this entity ever coming before the board asking for a drive-through permit.
I believe,
I mean, these are all the questions that I have.
right. So I believe that all happened before I started, Counselor, so I had to take a look.
Okay, so I'm gonna have to revisit this, because this is why my concern is here, is that you get out of.
But this isn't related, right? That's a totally
No,
different.
no, this is really for, I mean, again, I'm not saying that the council shouldn't look into what happened 3 years ago, but that has nothing to do with what's before you tonight.
Okay, I haven't had a chance to fully look at this thing, and I understand the concept of it's just retail, which I'm glad to hear. I didn't know that there's no cultivating, which is nice. So you're avoiding the smell.
Yeah, these are just gonna be packaged retail stores.
Well, yeah, because there's already state licensing and zoning that's been on the books in this city for 3 years on marijuana cultivation, marijuana compassion centers. So testing facilities, again, that's 3 years old at this point. Exactly. This is to address what the state's allowing now and trying to maintain some type of control over it. But by the same token, not putting ourselves in a position like Councilor Moreno suggested earlier in a memo that I saw, an email, that we're de facto prohibiting the use because that could run afoul of the state's consideration here. So our feeling is, all right, we have to allow it in some fashion. And the knee-jerk reaction on my part is you put it in the zone that's going to be least offensive, which is manufacturing as opposed to commercial general, commercial local. You can't allow it by state law in residential anyway.
Right.
And create buffer requirements to a certain extent to minimize, but again, not de facto prohibit. So that's what we tried to do, at least from a threshold perspective. And again, is it perfect? Could it be changed? Sure. Ordinances get changed all the time is my position, but I think we need something in place. And to a certain extent, the doctor's correct. This kind of got thrown at us and we're trying to catch up here. And we would rather have something on the books than not have something on the books. Because I don't want to have to get into an argument. Is it allowed? Where is it allowed in the absence of an ordinance that actually controls it? Again, my position is going to be, it's not allowed, it's prohibited. Somebody could take a contrary view on that.
That it's retail and.
Absolutely.
So anywhere that retail is allowed, that is not
Exactly.
in conflict with the other aspects of the
Right.
state law.
Correct.
Now, at the end of the day, too, we're not going to end up with 10, thankfully, because there are only 4 licenses. And I didn't realize, to be honest with you, that 2 of them, based on what the doctor just said, may very well be earmarked toward, certain groups. But that's still licenses in marijuana retail in the city of Pawtucket.
Correct.
So I would rather at least, if that worst case scenario came to pass, and there were 4, that we're essentially controlling to the extent that we can where they are. And then, obviously the zoning board can put any reasonable conditions that they want, as long as they're reasonable, on whatever use that they happen to grant.
Council, go ahead.
Yeah, so in regards to this, we'll focus on this here. It has to be renewed on a yearly basis, right?
To the state, yes, it's a quite large,
No, I'm saying to the city as well, in terms of.
No,
no, just state.
no, zoning is, once you grant zoning, that is it. There is no renewal of a zoning variance. There is no renewal of a special use permit. Once the zoning board of review issues a decision allowing a use, whatever that use is and however it is you apply for it, use variance, special use permit, dimensional variance, that's it. The license, though, has to be renewed
To the state,
through the state every single year. And from what I understand, it's a sizable,
very sizable, license fee,
so what is it, 100,000?
$100,000 a year.
But we could require a license as well.
No, we can't.
Operating here.
No, we can't. We're preempted. State law has preempted the field on marijuana retail sales. We cannot, without statute, and why would the statute allow us to do what they've already decided they want to govern, the licensing? We can't just decide that we're going to augment that and pass our own license. We can't do that. This is a statute of statewide concern. It's not something that we applied for and got enabling legislation on. The state controls the licensing. We only control the land use. And right now, our ordinance is basically silent on retail cannabis. Again, we have arguments that we can make. I would rather not have to make arguments. I would rather have something in black and white that's on the books that we can always amend at any point in time after.
Well, I agree that we need something, and I do agree what's been presented in terms of we need some controls on this. I'd rather try to get ahead of it. We don't want to
Exactly.
catch up, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, there is a time frame here too. And you stated earlier, Director, that the Cannabis Commission looked at it. At least they didn't point anything out that they didn't like about it or anything.
No.
I assume if they did, they would have said.
We're sent the
I would,
ordinance.
I would think if there were comments, they probably,
They
but
would've,
again,
yeah.
zoning's more us than them, but
True.
even our own, again, planning commission, and it's only an advisory, but they advised, they didn't have any issues with it,
So
so.
it was very, there's one question regarding educational institutions, which I have a proposed amendment. Once we get to the, I'll present it to the board and then, get the board's feeling on it and then, present it to, during the public hearing tonight.
Yeah, and again, I'm not concerned that there's gonna be 100 applicants knocking down the door because there can't be. There can't be more than 4.
Right.
And again, I don't think we're gonna get the 4. Maybe we get 1, maybe we
At the
get
most
2.
2.
It depends. There are 9 other communities. And I honestly don't know how many folks, nobody knows yet, how many folks in each community actually applied. I just don't know.
Right, they won't tell you that.
Right.
And just to let the committee know, just the licensing fee alone was $30,000. So.
A lot of
You
investment,
mean the application?
The application fee, just to have your application considered.
right, which you, I mean, a lot of money even gonna get it, so they're throwing $30,000 out on that already.
Yeah, but I'm sure if we're doing this, it's because there's a lot of people that already have those $30,000 for those.
Oh, yeah, listen, there's,
Oh, yeah.
there's a lot of money here. There's
Yeah.
no question. There's a lot of money to be made in this.
So
in
my
those-
concern in terms, I'm sorry,
No.
the restriction to just commercial, limiting it to that, I don't think works for certain communities, because otherwise you're gonna have, say we get the 4, and I certainly hope that's not the case, that they're not all concentrated into one district because it's mainly industrial or commercial. That's.
Well, it's not commercial, it's only manufacturing,
Manufacturing, yes.
Yeah, manufacturing.
not commercial.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. We're making it commercial and manufacturing, spreads it out, doesn't concentrate in one area. I certainly don't want another cannabis state in my district. I can tell you that right now.
Well, I mean, looking at the buffers, I don't think there's anything concerned with that right now. The proposed buffers, so. Between 500 feet from school, 400 feet from residential and existing existing hybrid licenses, they can't be any closer unless, again, one will consider these buffers.
Right, and you mentioned the mile in
Correct,
between.
a mile away, so the one where we are speaking to, there would not be another one in your district.
Well, is there anything in this, like I said, I haven't read the entire thing that says that you can't have more than one in one particular district? Like that should be.
No, not districts, but it.
Yeah,
from
I
existing
would-
facility.
yeah.
From existing
There's a 1 mile buffer.
So,
We're a 9 square mile municipality. In fact, engineering kind of helped us along there because we wanted to try to envision.
Yeah.
There really aren't a ton of lots.
It's not really, it's like 23.
And I don't think any of the lots that potentially could house this are in your district from what I'm seeing here.
As the ordinance is written right today, there's not gonna be another one in your district. Or there can't be, I should say, because it wouldn't fit zoning.
The only way there could be, they would have to go to the board and get a use variance. Because it wouldn't be allowed in the
Right,
zone.
exactly.
And you would know of that. But you can't stop somebody from filing an application for a use variance. But what I'm suggesting is they would have to show, because you know the standards on zoning, they would have to prove to the zoning board that if we don't get a use variance, we are being deprived of any and all beneficial use of our property, which is an impossibly high standard. You would be aware of that. Your constituents would be aware of that, and they would all have the opportunity to go to the zoning board and object to the use variance being granted. So I think the chances of that happening are slim to none.
And this ordinance, I mean, I like to see what we could do here in terms of controlling what happens with Mother Earth, because whatever's going on there, I'm getting complaints from people, a lot of traffic accidents, all sorts of things.
But that's a separate thing. I mean, we can't address that with this anyway.
Not with,
No, I just want to be clear that this entity, I hope that's not the case, is the only business in this city which is entirely unregulated by us. I want to make sure that that's the case.
no, but that's not really true, because again, they went to the zoning board. They had to satisfy conditions. They had to go through the licensing process. They're subject to all of the state regulations relative to the use that they're carrying on. And
As weed dealers, right? That's what they advertise themselves
yeah, well,
as.
but again, that blame the General Assembly on that, because the General Assembly gave them the right to obtain the license. We had ordinances in place, I believe, at the time that Mother Earth came into being. They went through the process.
Yeah, this special-
They were granted the special use permit.
I understand that, but I'm saying,
I can't unwind the clock in that regard.
no, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the way they conduct their business in the city needs to be monitored. You tell me we don't have a right to say how many signs they can have there, what size, but everybody else has to.
Are they not in compliance with zoning for signage?
No, they went to the zoning board, about a year and a half ago, maybe two.
So what would we be citing them for if they got the necessary approvals? I mean, again, I'm
Yeah.
deferring to you,
Yeah,
Carl,
like,
because
yeah, like I said, I just, because I know they went to the zoning board while I was here. I'm not, yeah, I mean, I know they got approval for the signing that they proposed.
so if what they asked to do wasn't 100% compliant with zoning, the zoning ordinance, they got the permission from the board to do it, I would imagine via dimensional variances. I mean, we could pull that information out, but
And then I believe that the billboard we're talking about is on state property, so we have no control of that.
So what I'd like to do, I'm gonna intervene at this point in time. Let's stick to where
Oh,
we
yeah,
are.
no.
And I appreciate the input and stuff, and I appreciate the questioning too, Councilor Gregor, but I'd like to stick to where we are here on this particular ordinance. So that particular amendment, Carl, you were thinking of doing, are you gonna do that out on the floor?
I'll do it, but I'd just like to share with the committee real quick. It's very short. So it's under subsection 5, letter G, letter 1. I'm sorry, number 1, where it was mentioning about the distance from an educational institution. So I'd like
Say that
to,
again, 5, what?
5G.
Oh, yeah, 1, yep.
So instead of, I want to replace the educational institution language
Yep,
to this language. So 500 feet from a pre-existing public or private school providing education in kindergarten or any grades 1 through 12. That way there, it makes it a lot more clear of what we're considering those.
That language.
that's gonna be this one here, right here. You turn the page right
G
here,
one.
G1. Do you have a copy of that? You can make a copy so we can read that
Oh,
eventually, if you want to make a few copies.
I'll make a few copies for you.
Yeah.
I was making sure.
You just want to be more specific on the educational. Okay.
It says, what I have, it says 500 feet.
Correct.
Right, but he's saying from an educational institution, but then he changes the educational institution. It puts in more meat to that, more language.
From a pre-existing public or private school providing education in kindergarten or any of the grades 1 through 12.
Yeah, it's one of the definitions for education from the state law.
Okay. I don't have a problem with that.
Well,
Yeah, this one's there.
can we increase this amount here, 500 feet?
Yeah, actually, no, it's that where the state law says we can reduce from 500
All right,
feet.
you go lower, you can't go anymore. No.
honestly, we don't even really need that in the ordinance,
Okay.
but it can't hurt to have it in there because
Yeah.
what if the state regulation changes?
Right.
I would rather, from a zoning perspective,
No, that's fine. We can do that.
What about the number 3, G3? 400 feet, that can be increased.
That's not regulated by the state at all. It'll be totally up to the council to increase if they would like. Again, that was just a baseline to start it from.
Well, I think it should be increased to 1,000.
That's a vote that
Residential?
that'd be the council decision.
I mean, what's the input on that? 1,000 feet? Is that considered, I mean, would that be fair? Is that excessive? I have no idea.
Like I said, I mean, we have, looks like right now 23 parcels that are eligible for this use right now in the whole city. Again, but there's that'll decrease the amount of parcels. That may take everything out of play in this whole city. So, but again, without having the updated mapping on that.
Yeah, and I just don't want to be put in a position where we have somebody suggesting, again, to Councilor Moreno's point, that we are de facto prohibiting, because I don't think that's consistent with what the state statute is. So,
Can I ask you?
Yeah, Mr. President, go ahead.
Well, I know you just did the educational institution,
Yes.
whatever. There's a section in there, and I just left it out there, of course, about being within a certain distance of another retail.
Yes,
Yeah, it's 1 mile.
1 mile.
1 mile?
Yes.
So in theory, let's say there were all 4 of the licenses
Yeah.
wanted to be in Pawtucket and they applied. We could, I mean, all 4 could fit the bill
No.
about being able to be cited.
Right.
However, if the Cannabis Commission then approved all 4, they could be not in violation, but kind of, they could be within a mile of each other.
Right.
Right? So they conform with everything, but we don't know ultimately where the CCC is going to allow the program to be. So what would we do in that?
So to be clear on that, so say these are special use permits, so they would have to go to the zoning board. It would basically be whoever would get the zoning board approval first. And then if that was, the special use permit is approved there, then it would be a mile from that location, so, but they will.
But that applicant who went first
Yeah,
might not pass the sniff test at the CCC.
right.
You follow me?
Oh, absolutely.
So if you and I were both looking for a license, you and I both found a site that comported with everything,
Right.
but we happen to be across the street from each other.
Right.
You know,
So they would still have to get a letter from zoning saying that they comply, but I can see where your point is.
But
It's gonna be a conundrum, yeah.
when they're trying to comply, it is before the issuance or the granting of a license.
Right.
So if you went at 1 o'clock and asked for it, and I went at 2 o'clock and asked for it, I don't know how we would deny me the zoning use variance too. It can't be because I'm within a mile of you, because there's no certainty you're gonna get a license,
Right.
that you'll ever be in business. So we might want to consider that, since
Right.
we don't grant the license. I'm just,
Yeah, no, yeah,
I can see that being a problem when they do expand it. Instead of 4 in this zone, there's 6 in this zone, or 22 in this zone. Then, but again, we can always revisit that. I'm just, in this one instance, I doubt that all 4 are gonna be filed
Yeah.
in
Right.
Pawtucket anyway. But that 1 mile from each doesn't really happen until after the fact.
Right.
So that just.
Yeah, no, absolutely, no, it's a good point. I mean, and it's not something that,
That's because we're at ground zero
Yeah.
right now, right?
But can you force them to be a mile apart if you had all 4? Is that what you're saying? You can or you can't?
Well, I mean, that's what the ordinance would presently say.
Right.
You know, I suppose it's always subject to challenge, but I would rather have it in place now, let the dust settle, see where we end up.
So I mean, we could also, so let's say all 4 are Pawtucket, right?
You could always,
All
you could
4
always
got a
reduce that.
zoning use permit to present to the CCC. And all 4 happen to be in Pawtucket, and they were less than a mile. I think we would have to adjust our.
You might have to. We
And
have
gotta
to.
be, I don't, at that point, you've got them all,
Yeah.
not spot zoning, but you've got them all in one particular area.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd like that either, because, that's anti-competitive, right, to be across the street from each other.
But
So,
what were you, when you say adjust, what would you adjust on it later after all 4?
Reduce the buffer, basically.
so
Oh, allow them to be actually within.
eliminate or reduce the
Yeah.
1 mile
But if you
limitation
notice-
between,
If you notice,
that's just,
Yeah, no,
I'm just seeing how that should be a problem.
you could absolutely.
if you find out where they're gonna be and you notify, you see that these two are within a mile of each other,
Yeah,
then
but I
maybe,
think what Terry is saying right now, we don't know because there are none. That's why I'm saying we're at ground zero now.
right.
You know, because it's the great unknown. We don't know how many of the 97 applications find their origin in Pawtucket.
Right.
And how many of the 4 in our zone could potentially come to Pawtucket. 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't know.
Right.
I
But
can't.
in order to apply, they have to have a zoning compliance
Yeah,
document.
I think once we get through this
We can't
wave,
say that you're within a mile of another one, because there is no other.
Right.
At this moment, there is 0. And we don't know who of the 97 people are gonna get one of the 4.
oh, you're right, but
Yeah.
it's just gonna kind of develop with this first wave.
I don't see it being a problem.
I don't either.
Potentially.
Right.
But it's something to be alerted about potentially, I guess.
Me personally, that's one of those things I'd rather cross that bridge when I get to it, depending on what happens with this particular licensing phase. Once we get through this, we're gonna have a baseline because we're gonna know. Do we have 1? Do we have 2? Do we have 3? Where are they? And now we have something to gauge it against.
Who knows?
I agree with what you're saying. I just don't know what we can do about it right now at this
Really,
point.
just bringing it.
Yeah.
So potentially we could be meeting again on this. If we even approve this
Maybe.
now, we could be right
Maybe,
back again.
potentially no, but
Yeah.
realistically, yes.
So I motion to amend it to 1,000 feet for the residential home. think it's a quality of life issue. I don't think anybody wants,
See, I can't approve, I won't support that. And we can put for a vote on that. I think the 400 is adequate because then you get into a point where you may be, you don't
I just
allow.
think if you do that, you're creating a situation where you're not allowing anybody at all, which I don't think we have the right to. I mean, that's not the challenge that I would want to necessarily have to defend, because I don't think that's within the letter and spirit of what the statute is. So again, we were trying to figure out like, what's the best way we could do this, yet still allow some, but not open the door to more than we can bear, basically.
I mean, you can make that motion if you want, but
well, I am gonna
second
make
or
the
not.
motion now, well. I think people of low income are being burdened by these sort of regulations. When you're talking 400 feet, it's okay. Well, if you live in one family home someplace else, they're not allowing any of this. But you're saying it's okay for the poor person to sit here and have a cannabis distribution right there next to him, 400 feet. Come on, it's even less than what you're suggesting, even the 500. So if you're saying that this is not state regulated, then I think it's our responsibility to properly make sure the quality of life of people, whether they're low income, whatever they happen to be, isn't compromised by this sort of thing. 1,000 feet is not unreasonable whatsoever. I mean,
But not everyone
that's
who's
my
within
motion.
1,000 feet of a manufacturing zone is low income.
No, they already, in the organization that these people are already, and I know what you mean. And I understand, but it's the way they have it organized, it's not like, not only like low income people are gonna, it's not, that's not how it works.
But you're also assuming the 400 feet would be, people would be compromised by that. That's your assumption, but what's that based on? It's your opinion.
Based on my perception, it is.
Right, I'm just
my
saying, it's all perception in your opinion, but that's fine. Put it out there. We'll see if we get a second.
I'd
I'd like to move on
I'm
with
gonna
this.
motion 1,000 feet regarding G, 3. Is what I'm proposing for the cannabis retail and hybrid cannabis retail should be located within from 400 feet from a residential zoning district or a property with a residential use to 1,000 feet.
All right, so
That's the
motion
motion
is
I'm
made by Council Gregor. Now, is there any second at all?
I'm not seconding that.
Okay.
So. No seconding, so we'll not go forward. Are we at a point now, would we need to make a recommendation with an amendment, or do we wait for the amendment to do it later? How do we do that, Rick?
You can make the recommendation. You can make a recommendation to approve it. You can make a recommendation to approve it as amended. Or you can make a decision not to send out a recommendation and it'll just go out without a recommendation, or whatever you choose to do.
I mean,
Have you amended it? We have not amended it.
no, not yet. I mean, have to look at it, but I'd like to amend it. I mean, we're gonna make a motion to bring it out of committee approved onto the floor. I'd like to have it amended with the language he had for the educational, what institution there.
It says, residential zone, it's
Thank you.
daycare centers and municipal parks.
Do you have the amendment? You don't have the amendment?
Oh, no.
You have this extra one.
Yeah, I do.
You can make it happen.
I got it. We got copies for everybody when we get on. Well, it's approved.
You want a copy too?
Let's see the copy, yeah.
So if you're gonna make them, this would take the place of that G1. See where it says 500 feet DC on the main. So you'd say if you're going to do it, you would say, I'll make a motion to approve this ordinance, read the ordinance out with the following amendment as amended, and then you would read the amendment, take the place of
You have,
G1.
you have your.
You have the ordinance as well, page 2 of 3. You see page 2 of 3? You got it there.
Just state that the motion is to amend section 5G
Right, without saying
1
anything.
to read as follows.
Make a motion to propose the amendment 5G1, 500 feet from a pre-existing public or private schools providing education in kindergarten or any of grades 1 through 12.
So the motion is made by Councilor Kadir.
Mhm.
Do we have a second? I don't know if you're seconding it or not.
Well, without the amendment of the residential area, I can
It
I
is
don't have an
already
issue
on
with
the-
that amendment.
This one. The residential area, it's already included we just adding this part.
Right. No, he was talking about the other one, but I mean, we didn't second his amendment for the residential one. So we have to vote on this one, the education institution. So I'm just asking if you're going
Yeah.
to second it, Counselor.
No, I'll,
If-
I'll second it.
All right.
It's reasonable.
All right, motion made by Counselor Goodyear, seconded by Counselor Gregor, that we're doing the whole ordinance and then with the amendment, correct?
No, you're gonna approve you're gonna
amendment.
recommend the amendment and
All
then approve make
As-
a recommendation to approve the ordinance as amended.
Okay. So motion is to approve the following proposed amendment, 5G1, 500 feet from a pre-existing public or private school providing education in kindergarten or any of grades 1 through 12. Any discussion on the proposed amendment? All those in favor?
Roll call.
Oh, yes,
Roll
I'm sorry. Roll call, please.
Chairman Moran,
Yes,
Council Codere,
Yes.
Council Gregor,
Yes.
I
3-0.
made the council Wilderness mistake. You think I'd learn from that, right? All right, and then Council Goodyear, you would then read off
Oh,
number 2. You need your read.
As amended.
But then you would say an ordinance and amendment number 2 and then say as amended. And that's for approval. And to be referred out of
On the agenda.
on the agenda. Do you have the docket? Do you have the docket? The actual docket?
You took.
I took your docket. No, this is my docket. Yeah, you don't have the docket? You have a copy of the docket? You're gonna give it back to me after, but. So you're gonna read number 2. And then when you're reading it, you're finishing it, you're gonna say as amended.
You're gonna move number 2.
And read this.
Just make a motion to approve number
Okay.
2,
Approve
read number 2 and then say as amended.
Number 2, an ordinance and amendment of chapter 410 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pawtucket, 1996, entitled zoning tax table of use and special use permit requirements for retail cannabis establishment
As amended.
as amended.
Motion made by Council Kadir. Do we have a second at all on that? And that's gonna be the full ordinance with that one, just the one amendment. Because if you don't second, I mean, I'll second it, but. Okay. Motion made by Council Kadir, seconded by myself, that an ordinance as amended, an ordinance and amendment of chapter 410 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pawtucket, 1996, entitled zoning, tax table use and special use permit requirements for retail cannabis establishments as amended, be approved, right, and then brought out onto the floor.
Yeah, I just have a roll call vote.
Okay, clerk will call a roll on that.
Chairman Moran,
Yes.
Council Codere, Council Gregor.
No, for reasons I stated on the record.
All right, with nothing else coming before, ordinance committee is adjourned.
Counselor, what I the finalized decisions, what I have are the draft forms.
All right, I'd like to,
Let me do the committee. and then-
Okay, I gotta talk to you about stuff.
sorry, I don't mean to cut you.
That's okay, no problem.
I'd like to call the Committee of Claims and Pending Suits at 7:22. Rick, will you call the order, please?
Chairman Rubio.
Here.
Counselor Russo.
Yeah.
Counselor Moreno.
Here.
3 in attendance.
All right, any public input? No. Counselor Ruja, could you take up number 2, please?
Sure. Item number 2, the vehicle claim for Boris Sikal. $969.70 for a tire. Motion is to take it up.
Motion's been made by Counselor Rujo, second by Counselor Moreno to take up Boris Cal. Do we have a
Sure.
motion?
Yeah, I looked this over real quick, just an explanation, and I think it's clearly stated that this is a sidewalk right away. And the vehicle, was parked on basically what the sidewalk is. I'm very familiar with this area. It's on Buckner Street. So my motion is to deny this claim because the vehicle was parked on the sidewalk.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to deny the claim for Boris Cal for $969.70. Could you please call a roll? Roll call.
Chairman Rubio.
Yes, to
Counselor
deny.
Russo.
Yes.
Counselor Moreno.
Yes.
3-0.
Right, no further business before us. This committee is closed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Freight Street headquarters for the first meeting of 2026 of the Pawtucket City Council. Welcome and Happy New Year. Our committee meetings ran a little bit late, so we're going to try to catch up a little bit. The first items on our agenda is the pre-council, the appointment of Joseph Shoddick to the Personnel Board. Mr. Shoddick, I know you've been waiting patiently. Could you come up to the podium if you would, please? This is kind of a formality. It's an opportunity for us to put a name to a face, although you and I have seen each other a number of times. Name to a face, into a resume, into an appointment. So you are here to be appointed later on in the night to the Personnel Board. It's a pretty hefty board, and we appreciate your willingness to jump on board feet first and help out and be a attribute to the city. So we absolutely appreciate it. Might you just give us a little bit of a background on you and why you're interested in joining that board?
I've been interested on getting on a board for past couple of years or so. And a friend of mine resigned from the personnel board, Frank Sylvester, and he talked and put my name in for the position. I do a lot in the city of Pawtucket for I'm very, very big into Veterans Affairs. I do a lot with
We
the
know that.
American Legion, a lot with the disabled American veterans. And I'm retired, so I just want a little bit more to do.
Well, we greatly appreciate, as I told you while you were patiently waiting, my father served on a personnel board for 30 plus years, from the mid 70s to into the 2000s. And he took it very seriously. I know Ken Riley, who has been on for longer than that, back when my father first got on, he's still on. There's a lot of good work that is done on that board. So we appreciate you stepping up. Is there anybody has any questions? Councilor Ruggio?
Yes, I've had the pleasure of knowing Mr. Shoddick since probably around 1990, 1991 when we first met. Knowing this man for a long time. He's a stand-up guy, works very, very hard with the Veterans Council of Pawtucket and throughout the state. We are very fortunate to have you step up and come into this role. We really appreciate it, Joe. You're gonna be an asset to this committee. So thank you, to this board. So thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else for Mr. Shoddick? So, Joe, we appreciate you coming down. We appreciate you waiting patiently. I'm sorry it took so long for us to get convened and moving, but you can rest assured that when your appointment vote comes up later on, I'm sure it will be unanimous. So feel free to head home, and we definitely appreciate you stepping up.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you,
Joe. Thank you. Good seeing you.
The next on our agenda is the appointment of Michael LaFond to the Riverfront Commission. Michael, come forward if you would, please, sir. Kind of the same thing. We apologize. It's about an hour later than you expected it would be. But we most certainly appreciate your willingness to join a board and work on the Riverfront Commission, which also has quite a bit of important work ahead of itself with the development, hopefully on either side of the river, on the Tidewater area and the Division Street properties, among a whole host of others in the Riverfront District. So we appreciate that. Could you just, again, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in joining a board and specifically the Riverfront?
Specifically the Riverfront. The water has always been my passion. 24 years with the Coast Guard. Gentleman you just mentioned, Frank Sylvester, was the guy that pointed me that way. The safety and the security of the water has always been my passion. But what we got in Pawtucket, we got a gold mine. We're just not utilizing it the proper way. And it's an honor for me to be asked to speak on behalf of the waterfront.
Well, we do appreciate it. Is there anybody? So again, we always appreciate folks who step forward and say, yes, I want to give back. I want to help out. This is as I said, it's a very important time for the Riverfront Commission. So I'm sure you'll do great work, and we just appreciate you stepping up.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
And again, we won't be dealing with the actual appointment for another 2 hours probably, so certainly feel free to not hang around and torture yourself. That brings us to public input. I'm told there is no public input in person and none online.
I instructed him to speak on the.
If he wanted to speak, he'd speak during the public hearing. Okay, so we are good to go there. In that case, it brings us to the Board of License Commissioners. Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners will come to order. Clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Here.
Yeah.
Here.
Greg.
Yeah.
Here.
Here.
Koviac. 8 and 10.
Mr. President, I call for approval of the previous minutes from December 10th, 2025.
The move by Council Ruzo, second by Council Moran, that approval be given to the minutes from the December 10th, 2025 meeting as prepared by the clerk. Are there any concerns, amendments, deletions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I call for approval of the consent agenda, starting with Private Detective New Douglas Belknap of Map Fire Insurance Company. Down to the second page, Private Detective New, Douglas Belknap Map Fire Insurance Company for surety. Motion is to approve.
Moved by Council Ruzo, second by Councilor Moreno, that approval be given, to item 2, the consent agenda, which starts with the Private Detective New Douglas Belknap, down through the first portion of page 2 with a Private Detective New for Douglas Belknap. Western Surety Company. Any items on a consent agenda anybody would like to speak about? In that case, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Number 3, as advertised for public hearing, a tattoo transfer of location, Bella Brows and Lashes. Bella Brows and Lashes LLC, 459 Smithfield Avenue, license number TAT 25-5, transfer from 404 Smithfield Avenue. Motion is to convene this public hearing.
Moved by Councilor Ruzo, second by Councilor Stakoviak, that we convene a public hearing regarding a tattoo transfer of location for Bella Brows and Lashes LLC, 459 Smithfield Avenue, license number TAT-25-5. This is a transfer from 404 Smithfield Avenue. I declare the public hearing open. Is the applicant here from Bella Brows? If you could come forward, ma'am. And could you give your name and home address to the clerk, please?
Veronica Gomes, 45 Jasper Street, Providence.
Ms. Veronica Gomes, 45 Jasper Street, Providence, Rhode Island.
Correct.
Hello, Mrs. Gomes, Miss Gomes. This is simply a transfer from 404 Smithfield Avenue to 459 Smithfield Avenue.
Yes,
Same entity, same LLC, correct?
correct.
Okay, I'm gonna just turn it over quickly to Councilor Stakoviak. It's her district.
Yes.
Hi, Veronica.
Hello.
I know Veronica very well. She's literally moving a few doors down.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm so sad. I was sad to move.
I know. So she actually, her previous location, she was my brother's tenant. So, I know her to be a good tenant. And now she's moving to, like I said, a few doors down, bigger location. She's grown. She's become very popular. So I wish her the best. This is easy peasy. Everything's the same. She is just expanding. So, and the building looks great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Mhm.
Say hi to
Anybody?
your brother for
I
me.
will say hi. Thank you.
Tell me to-
Yes. Yeah. Or he's trying to.
Anybody have any other questions for Veronica? Well, that was pretty quick, wasn't it?
I told her to be
We
easy.
expect it'll be fairly simple. So this is a public hearing. I'm gonna open it up to anybody else who might want to speak on this subject. I don't think anybody will, but you can have a seat back in your seat and shouldn't be long.
Thank you.
So this is a public hearing regarding this matter. Is there anybody else here in person who would like to speak on the transfer of location of Bella Brows and Lashes? I see none. Anybody online?
If you are currently waiting online to speak in this public hearing, can you please press the raise hand button at this time?
Okay, in that case, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed and entertain a motion.
I motion to approve the transfer of location for Bella Brows and Lashes.
Second.
Been moved by Council Stokoviac, seconded by Council Codier. That approval be given to the transfer of location for Bella Brows, 459 Smithfield Avenue, license number TAT-25-5. Is any discussion on the motion to approve? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Good luck.
Good luck. Item number 4 is advertised for a public hearing, liquor license renewals for a period beginning January 7th, 2026 and ending December 1st, 2026. Class A, GS Liquors, RJ Liquors LLC, pending location, LIC, license number LQA 24-17, and Pawtucket Wine and Spirit City Boy LLC, 368 Cottage Street, license number LQA 24-24. My motion is to convene this public hearing.
It's been moved by Councilor Russo, second by Councilor Moran, that as advertised for a public hearing, the liquor license renewal for a period beginning January 7th, 2026 and ending December 1st, 2026 for 2 Class A establishments, G's Liquors, RJ Liquors LLC, pending a location, license number LQA-24-17, and Pawtucket Wine and Spirits, City Boy LLC, 368 Cottage Street, license number LQA-24-24. I declare the public hearing open. Are any of the applicants, either of the applicants here for G's Liquors or Pawtucket Wine and Spirits? Okay, if you could come forward. And again, if you could give your name and home address to the clerk, please.
Yeah, Ryan Grady, 102 Toby Street in Providence, Rhode Island.
102 Toby Street. Mr. Ryan Grady, 102 Toby Street, Providence.
Thank you, Mr. Brady. So G's Liquors forever, well, not forever, but for a long while was on the corner of Broadway and Central, correct?
Correct.
But you're no longer able to utilize that
Correct.
site, right?
That's correct.
And we're renewing with pending a location. Is that how?
We've done it.
Okay. I'm just,
When was the last
I
time
haven't
that
seen us do it, but
We've done it when they lost it for one reason or another. We've allowed them time to find a new location. I mean, if he doesn't find it this year, then at that point, we probably have to.
for next year, and then he at that point could just reapply for a Class A license
No.
at that point.
There are no new licenses. If this license becomes null and void,
Yep.
you cannot apply for a new license.
Okay, so we're allowing him to keep this active for this calendar year in hopes of finding
Yeah.
a suitable location.
Yeah.
Okay, and you understand that if December 1st or 6th or whatever, December 1st comes and goes, that there's not much we can do about that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, do you have any leads on?
Yeah, so we
Like-
actually applied for a transfer last year,
Mhm.
and at the last minute, the property owner pulled out. So my investment team and myself have actually we have 2 different LOIs for properties. We're just going to buy a property in Pawtucket and transfer the license there. The requirements for the liquor license do require a very specific commercial property. Obviously, we all know that. So
Yeah.
that's what we're trying to basically effectively secure.
So a commercial property that is X space away from a school and a church and all the rest, and you think you've got a lead on a couple viable
Yeah.
properties, yes?
I have a couple of LOIs out, yes.
Okay. Council Moran.
So were you here before us before with that issue with the other person? I remember, was that, Rick, was that the one with the G's Liquors where the issue was? Remember there was a whole business thing going on and stuff?
Yeah, I think you
Oh, yeah.
had the issue was you were no longer being able to be a tenant at the current place, right?
Correct.
And then
Yes.
you did apply, as you just said,
Mhm.
for a transfer, and you had a site and actually applied and came before us, right? But then
No, the owner, before the hearing, the owner called and said that he was no longer going to allow them to use his site. So
Gotcha.
It was
canceled, I think.
But I think it did go on our agenda, right? And then
It was on
af-
the agenda.
I think so.
Because you and I talked about it. I
Yeah,
remember
right.
we had a long discussion on that. But so as far as, so what in relate, there's nothing really going on with that. I mean, it has nothing to do with this.
None
You're
of it.
just trying to find another location with the license.
That's correct.
So whatever's happened with you and that other person, I guess, whatever's going on there. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Just want to make sure it wasn't related. All right.
Gotcha. Anybody else? Okay, so again, this is a public hearing for both you and Pawtucket Wine and Spirits. So we appreciate you coming down and being as upfront with us. As long as we have the same understanding that, you know, it's the clock is ticking December 1st. I personally don't see a problem with allowing you that grace and that lead time.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Is there any, you can have a seat if you'd like. Anybody else here that's here to speak either on the G's Liquors or Pawtucket Wine and Spirits? And anybody online?
Can you please press the raise hand button this time if you're waiting online to speak in this public hearing? And no, I did not.
And Rick, if I remember correctly, Pawtucket Wine and Spirits, their license had lapsed and they are now renewing it for 26. Correct? Okay. Anybody have any questions on this? In that case, I'm going to declare the public hearing closed. Are these both in your district?
I don't think the second one is, to be honest with you, but
Second one's in the Stop and Shop Plaza.
yes, that's Mark's, but
All right. Well, I will entertain a motion on both.
I'll make a motion.
It's been moved by Council Moran, second by Councilor Rubio, that approval be given to the renewals for the calendar year of 2026 for Class A establishments, G's Liquors and Pawtucket Wine and Spirits. Any discussion on the motion to approve? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 5 is advertised for a public hearing, liquor license renewal for a period beginning January 7, 2026 and ending December 1st, 2026. Class B Victular, La Esquina Colombiana Bar and Grill, La Esquina Colombiana Bar and Grill LLC, 266 Grand Avenue, license number LQB 24-58, outdoor seating with a stipulation of side door remains closed. My motion is to convene this public hearing.
Moved by Councilor Ruzza, second by Councilor Rubio, that we convene a public hearing regarding a Class B victualler that was for period renewing for January 7th, 2026 and ending December 1st, 2026. For a Class B victualler for La Esquina Colombiana Bar and Grill, La Esquina Colombiana Bar and Grill LLC, 266 Grand Avenue, license number LQB -24-58. It has outdoor seating and a stipulation of the side door remains closed. I will declare the public hearing open. Is the applicant here? I don't think we were expecting the applicant because it's Councilor Wilderdane's district, and I believe he's had a robust discussion with the applicant. So is there anybody else here to speak on this public hearing regarding La Esquina Colombiana Bar and Grill? Anybody online?
Will you please press the raise hand button at this time if you're currently waiting online for this public hearing? And no.
Okay, in that case, I will declare the public hearing closed, and after discussion with Councilor Wildenhain, he has no problem whatsoever in approving this, so I'll entertain a motion to that effect. But moved by Councilor Rubio, second by Councilor Moreno, that approval be given to the renewal for 2026 of the Class B victual license for La Esquina Colombiana Bar and Grill, 266 Grand Avenue, license number LQB-24-58 with outdoor seating and the stipulation staying in place regarding the side door being closed. Any discussion on the motion to approve the renewal? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 6 is a communication from Captain David Dolan, Pawtucket Police Department, to the Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners, JR1 Sports Lounge, 250 Main Street, liquor compliance check. Motion is to file the communication.
Second.
Moved by Councilor Ruzo, second by Councilor Codier, that a communication from Captain David Dolan for the Pawtucket Police Department to Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners regarding JR1 Sports Lounge, 250 Main Street, and a liquor compliance check. The motion is to file a communication. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 7, as advertised for public hearing, Class B Victular New, JR1 Sports Lounge, JR1 Sports Lounge LLC, 250 Main Street, Unit number 1 and number 12, license number LQB 25-22, previously Still on Main Pizzeria. My motion is to convene this public hearing.
Second.
Moved by Council Ruzo, second by Councilor Codere, that we convene a public hearing on a Class B victualler new JR1 Sports Lounge, JR1 Sports Lounge LLC, 250 Main Street, Unit number 1 and number 12. Its license number LQB-25-22. This is previously Still on Main Pizzeria. I will declare the public hearing open. Are the applicants, or is the applicant here? I know you gentlemen in the back are here for that, right? If you could come forward, please. Good evening. If each of you, if you're members of it's an LLC, right?
Yes.
If you're members of the LLC, could you just give your name and home address to the clerk, please?
My name is Aronde Washington, 54 Sophia. Excuse me. 54 Sophia Street, Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay. These guys have those TV, Jack, Lady. 189 Dortmund.
And it's Pawtucket.
JT West. Just initials, last name West. 23 Outwell Street, something without.
Okay, we have Mr. Aronde Washington, 54 Sophia Street, Providence, Rhode Island. TJ Santos, 189 Dartmouth Street, Pawtucket, and JT West, 23 Boutwell Street, Pawtucket.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. So this is an application for a new Class B victualler on Main Street. And Main Street is that portion of Main Street anyways in Council Codere's district. So I'm going to turn it over to her to start things off.
Thank you, Mr. Professor. Good evening, gentlemen. I have here. Why we have 3 people? I only have 2 applicants here.
Well, he's running the restaurant part of it.
Okay. Both applicants have issues with the law that hasn't been expunged yet. And there is one of the issues that's still pending. Also, you've been operating the business without a license.
We was running the Still on Main until he operated and shut it down.
You've been operating the business without a license, and after you receive, we receive a letter from Captain Darling, that you were selling liquor after December 2nd, even though you received phone calls and emails from the city clerk's office. Do you have anything to say about that?
We had parties that was on, but there was no liquor being sold. Like birthday parties, like younger kids, we didn't sell no liquor. We
The letter we have from the captain has proof that you were selling liquor without a license.
Have you seen the letter from Captain Dolan?
No, we haven't.
Okay, so it's been on our website as part of this agenda for tonight. Council, would you want me to just read this?
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Okay. This is a letter that we just introduced prior to opening the public hearing. Okay, not a letter. It's a report from a captain in the police department, Captain Dolan. And it says, during the month of December 2025, members of the Pawtucket Police Special Squad were made aware that the Still on Main, located at 250 Main in Pawtucket, did not renew their liquor license, which had expired on December 1st, 2025. It was advised that Rhode Island Sports Lounge is currently operating out of this location without a license. Members of the special squad were advised that that JR1 Sports Lounge was instructed to remain closed beginning December 2nd, 2025. And they were scheduled to appear in front of the city council on 1/7 today. Despite this, JR1 Sports Lounge remained open and has advertised special events via social media. On December 20th, 2025, Sergeant Comella met with 2 undercover officers. Both officers were briefed on the circumstances above. Sergeant Comella proved the undercovers with, I think that meant provided the undercovers with official City of Pawtucket funds and instructed them to enter JR1 Sports Lounge, located at 250 Main Street in Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and attempt to purchase an alcoholic beverage from the establishment. At approximately 21:25 hours, both undercovers entered the establishment. The business was open to the public and appeared to be operating in a normal manner. Upon entry into the establishment, the undercover officers observed approximately 12 patrons inside. These patrons were seated at the bar and tables throughout the establishment. The bar was open and operational. Multiple bottles of liquor were visible behind the bar, including various brands of spirits. Patrons were observed in possession of alcoholic beverages, including mixed drinks, shots, and beer, which appeared consistent with alcoholic beverages being sold and consumed on the site. The overall operation of the establishment was consistent with normal bar service despite the suspension of its liquor license. The undercovers sat at the bar and ordered alcoholic beverages, specifically 2 Coronas. The bartender retrieved the beer from a cooler and placed them on the bar in front of the undercovers. The undercovers paid $5 each for the beverages. The undercovers observed the beverages to be consistent in appearance, smell, and with an alcoholic beverage. No questions were asked regarding the status of the liquor license. No indication was given that alcohol sales were prohibited. After the transaction was completed, the undercovers exited the premises and relayed the information described to Sergeant Comella. The above actions were conducted as part of a liquor compliance check to determine whether JR1 Sports Lounge was unlawfully selling alcoholic beverages without a license. It should be noted that at the time of this liquor compliance check, JR1 Sports Lounge does not have a liquor license. This report was forwarded by Patrol Captain D. Dola. So I think what the counselor is asking is that the clerk's office has made it very clear to this board that they made it very clear to you that the license was not valid and you could not be open after December 2nd last month. But this says, among other times, that at least on December 20th, the undercover officers went in, observed a number of patrons in there imbibing, presumably having paid for them, and that they were able to purchase 2 beers when the premises did not have a license. So that's, I believe, what the counselor is asking you. What would be your response to that, having been told unequivocally a number of times by the clerk's office, don't open, don't sell alcohol, you don't have a license? And I think what the council wants to know is, how could that have happened?
We was a little confused because I don't think we was ever told, not nobody just said there was no liquor being served and we have it. And then if our bartenders did that, that's falls on us and we're responsible. We should have been more on it, but we wasn't known that we had to close because we had like I said, we had birthday parties for 12-year-olds and all that stuff. And if our bartenders sold beer, it falls on us, so that's our responsibility too. If that's the case, I apologize to the board on behalf of JR1s because we're not intending to do no illegal actions or none of that. We on a sports bar for the grown crowd. Like I said before it changed over to us, we was running it at the Stewart Main under Mr. Montero. So if there was confusion, I apologize to the board, but we wasn't trying to go out the way and do something that you told us not to do and did it because that's nothing we do.
So, Rick, do we have the correspondence? I mean, we've been told by the clerk's office that,
After following that, on the computer, if you follow that, the letter, there's a.
okay, I knew we had it. I just didn't know. So this is a letter, this is a correspondence from the clerk's office sent to JR1 Sports Lounge regarding license info. It was sent on November 18th, so well before the December 1st expiration, well before a full month before.
Was it
And
sent email or mail?
it was sent by email to aranda86@gmail.com, which is I believe the same email address you're using for the application here tonight, right? So it says just checking in to see if you have any questions or need any assistance. That's regarding.
Pardon me, my email, I had changed, it was supposed to be the JR1. So my email, I don't really correspond too much to it. But I probably got like 3,000 unread messages, but the JR1 one that we put on, he responds to that one.
So
all correspondence has been going through the JR1 email address.
Okay, well, you know,
with city council.
The email you used in the application for JR1, that it's probably the same thing you would have gotten by that same email to say to be here on this night, right? But the point.
Correspond from the JR1 email. My email is between my job and I probably dismissed and read it and didn't read it, but we correspond to the JR1 email.
Okay, so let me just finish reading this way. So it says the next available hearing date is December 10th, 2025. We ended up having to cancel that meeting.
Yes.
And the filing deadline would be this Wednesday in order to allow sufficient time for proper advertising for what happened to be now tonight's meeting, right? As a reminder, and this is in bold, there will be no license at that location as of December 2nd. And the business would need to remain closed until you open and obtain your license.
Yes.
So you couldn't be open for parties, you couldn't be open for
That was
anything.
my misunderstanding right there. I thought when I was over there, she said you can't sell liquor at all. It didn't specify it. That was my misunderstanding right there.
And it says, please let me know how I can help. I'd be happy to assist you with the filing process or to answer any other questions.
Yes, she was a big help.
Okay, so that's what Councilor Codier was getting at. So I think you probably already answered it to some extent, but if you'd like to just further answer her question of, you know, how this could have happened, you know, and you're right that it's your responsibility, because that's why we have hearings for liquor licenses, right? Because there's a great responsibility that comes with serving alcohol to the public.
It was to my house before he speaks. It was a misunderstanding, and at the Four Main Sports Lounge, we ran it for the year and a half before that, and you can see there was no incidents, no nothing there. But as far as the second part of December, that was just a confusion, a misunderstanding. But once again, there's no incidents, nothing there. It's just everybody's a grown folk vibe.
Everybody's what?
It's a grown folks atmosphere.
Gotcha. You're Mr. Washington, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just so I have it straight.
like-
Councilor Codier?
Where did one question, where did the email, I didn't see where was it addressed to, the email correspondence regarding the liquor license?
Well, I know my email I put down at first, and we had changed it to the JR1 email.
Okay, all right.
I think I tried to change it to the JR1. I don't know if it.
The application says JR1 Sports. All right.
Well, I never received it because
The applicant, according to the applicant record number, the applicant's email was JR Sports Lounge. That was in November, yeah.
That
December 4th.
That was sent back in November.
Right, and this was a December 4th, right?
That was the email that the office had.
Right, right, no, yeah, definitely, yeah. Yeah, no, 100%.
Right, we didn't get the JR Sports email
To December 4th.
until December 4th. Well, the city did not. So prior to that, all correspondence had been done at the other one, the Arande, is that what it was? So that had to have been the email address you were monitoring for correspondence with the city until you gave us the new one, right? So I think that's what a disconnect.
I know the first email I got from her when I spoke with lady over there, it was from my email, but the other one
When you say your email, you mean the Arande one?
yeah, that's my
Yeah,
email. That's
gotcha.
my personal.
Council Codetta, do you have any other questions?
Not at this moment. I need a few seconds.
Okay, and you raised the issue about
I raised the issue about the current
background
court
check?
issue. Yes, about the court issue, and that still hasn't been expunged, and also the one that's still pending. There is one that's still pending in court.
For one particular applicant or both? Or
One particular. Do we have the?
I don't have.
Well, at the.
I'm in court right now because my 11-year-old son got jumped by a 14-year-old and a 35-year-old, and the 35-year-old tried to say I hit him. So I'm in court for that right now. It was World News in Johnson. So I'm around the Washington. I'm in the process of going to the court right now with my son. That I have all the paperwork and stuff from that. If that's the issue with me, but that's the only issue
Okay,
that I have right now.
that probably is the pending one. Is there another one? Did you say?
We have a list of the criminal records of law issues with the law that hasn't been expunged. I don't have the list here. Our
There should be
counselor has the list.
Anything
Our
you, Mr. Santos, then? Any prior conviction or?
Yeah, that's
Okay, so
several years ago.
you-
Those, the ones they have.
Well, there is
years
that
ago.
is being many years ago, and there's another one that is
This is a pending one
Well,
because
recent.
I'm actually in court right now for the guy in Johnson that hit my 11-year-old son. I mean, they jumped him. So I'm in the process of that right now. It's a big process and a long, tight, drawn out thing because my son's actually 14 now, and they jumped him when he was 11, and the guy was 36, and the son was 14. So they've been dragging the process out this whole time. You know, with like I went today for the whole hearing and stuff. So that the one pendant's probably me, but there's no charges brought on me. It's just he assaulted my son, and then he tried to say I assaulted him so he can get out of the charges. But there's a videotape of him and his son actually jumping my son and physically damaging him. And that's the only case that, that's on my record right now that I'm still going with.
Okay, did you have any other questions, Counselor?
no more questions.
So here's what I'm gonna do. This is a public hearing, right? So I'm gonna ask you guys to have a seat for a moment. Normally what we do is after anybody else has spoken, we would close the hearing and entertain a motion to approve or deny. Let us get to that point for a moment. If you guys could just have a seat, you don't have to go all the way back to the back of the room again. Is there anybody else here that wishes to speak on this matter in this public hearing? And is there anybody online?
If you are currently waiting online to speak in this public hearing, can you please press the raise hand button at this time? And I see no hands.
Okay, so I am going to close the public hearing. Okay, so we don't have to re-advertise or do anything like that. Let me just do that for the moment. So I would declare the public hearing closed. Council, sounds like you have some concerns that you'd like to get straightened out.
I do.
So
Definitely want to help you straighten them up.
Would it be your preference to, I guess I shouldn't have closed the hearing, but we will continue this public hearing to the next meeting, which is 2 weeks from now, to try to get some things cleared up. Not just you, but any other applicant who we considered to be willfully selling alcohol on, if it's on one occasion, it's probably on multiple occasions, right? Without a license, especially after being notified that you couldn't do that, is very concerning to us, right? I mean, just like we were talking about the other applicants, having a liquor license is a very heavy responsibility, and our responsibility is to make sure you can handle it, right? So, would that be a preference for you to continue the public hearing to the next meeting? In hopes of getting a little bit more clarification. We can talk to the clerk's office about how the notification was sent out, things of that nature. We would have before us any of the documents that you were referencing, because I can't find it here in the application. So I think that's probably a prudent course of action for all of us, as opposed to us weighing in, because honestly, we'd be hard pressed to approve it, right? Knowing what we know. And I think at least we can give you the opportunity to clarify some things. No harm, no foul, right? If we were deny it tonight, it's denied. At least we can revisit the issue a couple weeks from now. No promises, but at least we can have better information. And if there's anything you guys can clear up on your end between now and then, that just seems like a good course of action to me.
But it must remain closed.
Huh?
Must remain.
Oh, yes, you don't have a license. It must remain closed, right? I'm presuming that from December 20th to today, you've been closed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
That includes all, that's not just liquor sales. That's
Yeah, and you have no license whatsoever
No
to
bodies.
open those doors to have the public in there for anything. A bridal shower,
That's
a
where
football
That's
game.
where the confusion came from, just opening the door for just to watch football and the bridal shower, and things like that. That was the confusion. I thought when she said it just no sale at liquor. So that's my fault for misunderstanding.
Gotcha. And again, the heavy responsibility that comes with Class B licenses is
making
just
sure
that,
everyone gets
making sure, you said it's on you. You're right. The buck stops with the license
stops
holder,
with us,
right?
but,
So,
can't put it on anyone else.
okay. So again, I can't make any promises. I think it's a prudent way to move forward, and no harm, no foul for another 2 weeks. Yes.
And quick question. The case pending against me, how do I go about that? Because if it's pending, it's I was defending my son, 11-year-old son against a 36-year-old.
I do get that, and I don't want you to say too much here that might, cause you some problems.
No, but you say, well, I just want to make sure everything's clear. She said,
So is it a pending assault charge? Is that what it is, or?
He assaulted my son, and then on a token, so he can get out of it, he tried to say I assaulted him. And
that was 3 years ago? I mean,
Yeah,
this has been going on for 3 years?
And I'm the one that's going to court right now, and he has not even been to court yet. So
Okay.
That's why I'm just a little mind boggling that I'm only in the situation because of what he did to my son, and now I'm going to court. He hasn't even been to court yet.
All right, so here's what I suggest. If we'll take a motion to continue to the next meeting. In the interim, see what you can do to straighten out whatever it is you might have to straighten out. If it's been going on for 3 years, you're not going to straighten this out. You're not going to have a resolution by 2 weeks from now. Go to the clerk's office, have a dialogue with them about what's transpired then, and try to reach out to Counselor Codier. They'll give you her number when you're at the clerk's office, and you can at least have a conversation on a telephone, and we'll move forward and reconvene here in 2 weeks from now.
We'll do everything in our power to make sure we're staying level-headed and there's no misunderstandings.
Okay. In that case,
motion to continue.
It's been moved by Counselor Rouge, second by Counselor Codier. We continue this public hearing until the next meeting of January, and reconvene at that point. Any discussion on the motion to continue? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, so we are going to continue that. You'll be back here. You're on notice now to come back here 2 weeks from now at 6:45-ish. Okay. In the meantime, please try to straighten it out as best you can with the clerk's office. Again, we can't make any promises that it's not going to be a bad outcome or a good outcome.
Yes.
right? And in the
Appreciate the
meantime,
opportunity to get another hearing.
and in the meantime, sometime between now and then, have a discussion on the telephone with Counselor Codier. Okay?
Well, for the mean, I'll just give her our number and then we can just go from there. So if that's possible.
Handle it at the clerk's
Okay.
office. So you want her to give your number out here and all this.
Understand.
The clerk's office will give you Counselor Codier's
Okay,
phone number. Okay? All right. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. President, should I move to postpone number 8 to the next meeting?
Yes.
Okay, so item number 8, petition for license victualling house first class new JR1 Sports Lounge, JR1 Sports Lounge LLC, 250 Main Street, unit number 1 and 12, license number LQB 25-22, previous still on Main Pizzeria. My motion is to postpone until the next meeting this month.
Second.
It's been by Counselor Ruzza, second by Counselor Codier, that a petition for license for a victualling house first class new for JR Sports One Lounge, JR Sports One Lounge LLC, 250 Main Street, units number 1 and 12, license number LQB-25-22, previously still on Main Pizzeria, be continued until the next meeting in January. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 9, as advertised for public hearing, Class B Victular New Latin Grill, Dos Hermanos LLC, 881 Central Avenue, license number LQB 25-23. My motion is to convene the public hearing.
This is Central Avenue. This is Mark. All right.
Oh,
It's been
Central Avenue?
moved by Counselor Ruzzo, second by Counselor Moreno, that a public hearing be convened regarding a Class B victual new for Latin Grill Dos Hermanos LLC, 881 Central Avenue, license number LQB-25-23. I declare the public hearing open. Is the applicant from Latin Grill here? Okay, if you could come forward, ma'am, and give your name and address to the clerk, please.
Brenda Alvarez, 62 Chester Avenue, Providence.
62 Chester.
Yes.
Ms. Brenda Alvarez, 62 Chester Avenue, Providence.
Hello, Ms. Alvarez. Thank you for coming down. I believe you've spoken with Council Wildenhain already. Did you?
I don't know, honestly.
Did you
I've been
speak?
making calls, so I don't know why.
Okay, so he's out of town, but he did tell me that he had no overarching concerns with this application. Do you want to just tell us what you plan to do at the Latin Grill? What your hours of operation will be, menu, things of that nature?
Oh, I think I provide the menu. So it's just gonna be a dining restaurant. So nothing like a bar, nothing like that. And hours are gonna remain the same, just 11 to 8 or 10, depending. So on the weekends only.
Okay.
But that's it.
Yeah. Is it already a restaurant?
Yeah, it's already a restaurant. We've
But
been
not the
open
Latin
for-
Grill. You're taking over.
No, they don't have the liquor license.
No, we don't have the liquor license, just a restaurant.
They
I
have
mean,
the
just
house
food.
license, but not the liquor.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's an existing restaurant.
Correct.
You are now asking for a Class B liquor license to go with it.
Correct. Yeah.
And the hours of operation you said?
They're 11 a.m. to 8 p.m.
And what did you say about the weekends?
So if anything, if we get the license, it would be 10 p.m. Just Saturday and
Saturday and Sunday,
Saturday.
Friday and Saturday, you might say open a next extra couple.
yeah, just 2 more hours. We don't want to stay till late.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Alvarez? Okay, again, this is a public hearing, so I'm gonna have it, take a seat, see if anybody else is here on this issue.
All right.
You can stay right in the front row if you like. Anybody here to speak on this issue? Anybody online?
Is anybody speak and who's waiting on Zoom? Please raise your hand at this time to if you'd like to speak in this public hearing. I see no hands.
Okay, I will declare the public hearing closed and I will entertain a motion to approve on behalf of Councilor Wildenhain. Then moved by Councilor Moreno, second by Councilor Rubio, that approval be given to the Class B victual and new for Latin Grill Dos Hermanos, 881 Central Avenue, license number LQB-25-23. Any discussion on the motion to approve? In that case, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Good luck.
Good luck. Item number 10, petition for license entertainment in Class F beer and wine. Petition of the Pawtucket St. Patrick's Parade Committee to host a post-parade gala and to sell beer and wine at the Pawtucket Armory on Saturday, March 7th, 2026 from 12 p.m. till 5 p.m. License number EVT 25-81. Motion to approve.
Moved by
Second.
Counselor Arujo, second by Counselor Moran, that approval be given to Entertainment and Class F Beer and Wine petition of Pawtucket St. Patrick's Parade Committee to host a post-parade gala and to sell beer and wine at the Pawtucket Armory on Saturday, March 7th, 2026 from noon until 5 p.m. License number EVT-25-81. The motion is to approve. Is there any discussion? In that case, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
No further business coming before the Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners. I make a motion that we adjourn and reconvene as the Pawtucket City Council.
It's been moved by Council Ruzo, second by Council Rubio, that we adjourn as Pawtucket Board of License Commissioners and we convene as the Pawtucket City Council. Before we do, I ask that everybody stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance, started by Councilor Codier.
Yes, to the flag of the United States of America, and republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we do roll call first or just go right in?
We do the roll call in the public hearing,
Do something and introduce something.
but after the roll call.
Yeah.
So after the roll call, he's going to amend the agenda to introduce something.
Got it.
Okay. Declare the Pawtucket City Council will come to order. Clerk will call a roll.
President Mercer.
Here.
Councilor Russo.
Here.
Council Codere.
Still here.
Council Gregor. Council Moran.
Here.
Council Moreno. Council Rubio.
Here.
Council Stakoviak. He's here. Council Wildenhain. 8 in attendance.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda.
It's been moved by Councilor Moran, second by Councilor Codier, that we amend the agenda for the purpose of
Introducing a communication, a recommendation from the City Planning Commission addressed to myself as the Chair of Ordinance Committee regarding the regular retail cannabis ordinance.
Okay, the motion is made to amend the agenda for the purpose of introducing a document from the Planning Commission. Is there any discussion on the motion to amend? All in favor of the
Aye.
motion to amend?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Okay, now you want to file?
Yes, if I can make a motion to file the communication.
Been moved by Councilor Moran, second by Councilor Moreno, that a correspondence dated January 7, 2026 from the Planning Commission regarding zoning text amendment recommendation be filed. For any discussion on filing the communication? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Mr. President, the purpose of this meeting is for discussion and consideration of the following as advertised a public hearing on an ordinance and amendment of Chapter 410 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pawtucket, 1996, entitled Zoning, Text, Table of Use and Special Use Permit Required for Retail Cannabis Establishment. My motion is to convene this public hearing.
Moved by Councilor Ruzo, second by Councilor Moran, that we convene a public hearing regarding an ordinance, an amendment of Chapter 410 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pawtucket, 1996, entitled Zoning, Table of Use and Special Use Permit Requirements for Retail Cannabis Establishments. The motion is to open the public hearing. I would declare the public hearing open. The Director of Zoning is here. We'll start there. Mr. Johnson, if you could come forward, please. The majority of the members were in the ordinance committee meeting tonight, but could you just give us a very brief overview of this ordinance for this public hearing purpose?
Thank you, Council President, members of the council. Just want to, as I said in the ordinance committee, the state of Rhode Island is currently reviewing licenses for retail cannabis establishments. The purpose of this ordinance is to establish some guidelines regarding a special use permit for in certain zones in the city that would allow for these facilities to operate. And when it is proper, I do have an amendment to bring forward to the council.
Okay, is that the amendment that they approved in the? So don't think you need to bring it forward. I think the chair can.
No, it
He
has
had-
to be, it has to be brought up at the hearing so that if anybody wishes to speak on that amendment, they'll have an opportunity to do so.
Okay, so go ahead and articulate the amendment, please.
Thank you. So under section X, subsection 5, letter G, section 1, where it's currently stated educational facility, education institution, substitute that language with 500 feet from a pre-existing public or private school providing education in kindergarten or any of the grades 1 through 12.
Okay, so just so I have have it right, under 5G1, the proposed ordinance currently said the requested use of the proposed location must not be within 500 feet from an educational institution.
Correct.
And you're proposing that we strike the words educational institution and instead say 500 feet from a pre-existing public or private school providing education in kindergarten or any grades 1 through 12.
That is correct.
Okay. Now, do we have to? We can't take action on that
No,
during the public
You
hearing.
just have to articulate it.
Okay.
So that if anybody in the public.
Anybody
wishes-
here or online knows that we will be considering an
Correct.
amendment. Okay. So, and you said in some zones, essentially it's manufacturing.
Correct. It's industrial open and industrial build out. Yes.
And this is the next step in progression of retail cannabis, right?
Correct.
So that
Yes.
for the most part, the current retail cannabis stores are converted from compassion centers when it was medical marijuana only, right?
Correct. So
And
now they have what's it's referred to as a hybrid.
Yep.
Hybrid facility, which can now sell retail cannabis.
So now the state is going down the road of licensing additional retail only cannabis shops.
Correct.
Correct. They've broken the state into
6 zones.
Six
6 zones.
zones,
Yes.
right?
City of Pawtucket is along with East Providence, and then basically follows the East Bay right down and right down around into Newport.
down to Aquidneck Island.
Aquidneck Island. Correct.
So, and there are 3 of the municipalities in that
Out of the
zone
12. Yes.
that have opted not to, this is long ago, they opted not to, or they chose to not opt into potentially having
Correct.
retail stores.
Yes.
So there are just 9 in the zone that Pawtucket rests in. There are 9 municipalities.
Correct.
And there are at most 4 licenses, retail licenses that will be granted by the Cannabis Commission.
Right. For
I got it.
those
So
9.
I got it
communities,
right?
yes. Correct. Yeah. You follow,
Okay.
you
So
got it right.
in theory, there could be 0 in Pawtucket.
Yeah.
Or as many as 4 in Pawtucket.
Correct.
And presently, we don't have a zoning ordinance to address the siting of those.
Correct.
And this
And-
will establish that.
Correct. And these establish some criteria for them to meet and apply and receive a special use permit from the zoning board.
Okay. And again, it's 6 zones, the max of 4 in each zone. So statewide, we're looking at currently no more than 24 additional licenses being granted
Correct.
in this round.
In this round,
Right.
yes. And I'm
At some
not quite
point-
sure when the next round appears, but there's this round, yes.
And at some point, they could be as ubiquitous as liquor stores, right?
Correct.
Package
Down the line,
So-
and I would not be surprised that's eventually going to happen, but
And
this is just a.
And if that did, we are not locked into this ordinance. We can amend that ordinance.
We can absolutely amend the ordinance at any time. This is just a starting point.
Okay, anybody else have any questions? That just answered them all?
Yeah, just
Not
one
questions.
specifically. So this is basically prepackaged material. So there's no sense of odor. It's not a growing mechanism, just to be clear in the public hearing for,
Correct. Yeah, this is only for retail sales.
Mhm.
There's no packaging, growing, and any kind of any other activity other than they receive the product, it's prepackaged, and they sell it.
And that's so it mitigates any kind of odor coming and permeating through the air that you would get in a growing
Correct.
facility.
Yes.
All right, that was my main thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
And you can't consume it on the premise,
Right.
right? Just,
Oh, yeah, well, that goes without saying.
I don't, when it comes to a gummy, I don't know how you're gonna,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, there is no loitering for the purpose of consuming the
Correct. Yeah.
cannabis on.
Right. On site.
I know Councilor Gregor just had another question, but I had a question in my head, but I'm gonna retrieve that question. Councilor Gregor.
No, that's what I was gonna say. So there is no consumption. It's simply sales, strictly sales.
Exactly.
I know what my question was. And I didn't think to ask it earlier. The goods being sold in the retail environment would be marijuana, marijuana gummies.
Yes.
And how about like candy and baked goods, cookies, things of that nature?
I believe so. Again, I'm not quite sure. I can't speak intelligently to that because I'm not quite sure. But anything that would all be regulated by the cannabis control. Yeah.
Right, by the sale.
Whatever they allow would be sold.
I'm just wondering if well, I guess they couldn't bake their own goods there either. This is all prepackaged
prepackaged,
stuff, just
correct.
like a can of Budweiser comes in, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Where we are not unlike a lot of other municipalities dealing with I don't want to necessarily say the fallout, but the General Assembly chose to go down a particular pathway. It's addressed statewide, not municipality by municipality. So we are, in certain instances, we have our hands tied, but no more so or less so than 38 other cities and towns, right?
Correct.
So, any other questions? Okay, thank you,
Thank you.
Director.
I'll step back, and if there's any other questions, I'll
Okay.
be available.
Is there anyone here in person who wants to speak on this issue? I believe there may be one online, at least one.
I have two online.
Two online. Okay. Why don't we just ask the name and address of the first one, and then we'll go to the second one.
Okay, we're gonna do this one at a time then.
Hello?
All right, can you hear us online?
I believe I can, yes. How's it going?
Dev?
Yes, Andre Dev. Can you guys hear me? Hello? All right. Well,
Hello, can you hear us?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me? Hello? Okay, it seems like people can hear me, but it's not clear that I'm just gonna start talking. So I apologize. So my name is Dr. Andre Dev. I am hello.
I think it's coming from that. From that mic. I just don't understand why.
So I'm talking to someone on Zoom who can hear me, and so maybe the issue is that Zoom is not getting sent to you guys.
Okay, hang on. We're experiencing some difficulties with the audio at the moment.
Please take your time.
We can see that we can very, very lightly hear you talking.
Okay, is this better? I don't want to just keep talking while you guys are like waiting, but I want to give you a barometer. So
How would we do that? Give it a shot, see if you can put it on speaker.
You want me to ask for his phone number? Okay, can you type your phone number possibly into the chat? They're saying that there are a few people on. Oh, okay. So I have 1 second.
How would it come through the Zoom?
Okay, so we're gonna call you on this to try to get you heard.
Hello?
Hello.
Okay. Look. All right.
Wow. Okay. So hold on. Let me mute. Okay. Sorry about that. Thank you so much for taking the time and figuring out how to do this. I really appreciate you guys. My name is Dr. Andre Dev. I am here.
Spell your name, please.
Andre, Andre. It's like Andrew without the W. Last name is Dev, Delta Echo Victor. And then MD. I'm a medical doctor.
And your address, please.
It is 243 Transit Street, Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay, we can't hear you now, Dr. Dev. You're free to fill us in.
Thanks so much. So I'm here in support of worker-owned cannabis businesses that are applying for these new retail licenses. This is a first-in-the-country license type that is set aside. 1 out of 4 of the licenses you're talking about in your zone are set aside for a worker co-op. So what that means for the people in the audience listening, and really for the people in the town of Pawtucket, is that when you go into one of these stores, the people you're talking to are decision makers. So you can, if you have an issue with the people, with the store, with the advertising, with whatever, the people you go in and talk to are the ones who are in a position to, as owner operators, affect meaningful change in that store. And I think that's very different than what else is going on out in cannabis in Rhode Island. One thing I want to say about this ordinance that maybe didn't necessarily get put across to you guys is that I, as someone who has been supporting different groups of worker owners apply for these licenses throughout the state of Rhode Island, Pawtucket, because we're not given the time to update your regulations. There are a lot of applicants. Of those applicants, you said like there was 96 applicants for the cannabis licenses. A lot of them will have applied with real estate in Pawtucket because they were told that in Pawtucket, cannabis was allowed by right. Not because you guys allowed it by right, but because you did not update your regulations. And I think, like, for instance, when someone comes up and says, hey, we want to change this to, instead of a K through 12 school, or instead of any school, it's a specific kind of school, that's probably because they already have a location that they think they want to make sure will work. And from my piece, I think it's really smart that you guys are interested in making sure that you have zoning control over different places and who gets to be in your town. I think my interest is probably pretty similar to most of your guys' interest, which is that we don't want a bunch of out-of-state actors flooding the town of Pawtucket with retail cannabis businesses that are not accountable to the people who live in Pawtucket. And so I would suggest that you guys do something similar to what Providence has done, which is to allow social equity and worker co-op license types. So 2 out of the 4 licenses going out in this zone, access to the town, and maybe areas of the town that you might not have thought about before. So for instance, I think the the mill districts, the Connet Thread Mill District and the Mill Building District, districts that we, like you and Pawtucket, have set aside for new business development, districts that want destinations. Those are things that should be available for local ownership cannabis businesses. And I want that to be something you consider, and I want that to be something you consider as seriously as you consider someone saying, industrial zone is fine, just not with this particular kind of school, because the person saying that probably has an idea of exactly where they want to go, and there's probably a specific school they are interested in not having included in that. And that's sort of how this sort of thing works. And I think we have to be honest about it, and nobody's been talking about it. I'm so sorry. Yeah, I didn't mean to call you out, sir. I have been doing this for a couple of years, and I've heard a lot of songs and dances.
Director, I called you up because I believe that it was planning in concert with the solicitor's office that decided to suggest that amendment, right? It didn't come from potential developers, did it?
No, this is straight from in the cannabis control, the cannabis state law. It says 500 feet from a school. The council has the ability to reduce that distance, but not increase it. So that's just being clear.
Right,
Is
but
that a public school?
The question is
Yeah.
the amendment of not the distance, but
Right.
the amendment of the description of school.
No, yeah.
Came from your office, nowhere else.
Right. I consulted with the solicitor, and
Yep.
this is just to clarify what, I mean, the state law is for a public school. It's just a clarification. It's not, has nothing to do with a certain school, a certain area. That's a state law definition for a school.
Okay.
Because an education institution could possibly be a daycare, or it could be this is just for K to 12.
More in concert.
Exactly.
I am gonna have one question for you afterwards, but
Correct.
if you absolutely hang around. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Deb. We appreciate your input.
Thanks so much. Have a great night, guys. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Are there others who wish to speak?
There are two others.
And are we gonna have to deal with them the same way?
I let them know I'm gonna try to connect them here, but if not, then we may have to call them.
Okay.
Okay. Eric, if you can hear me, I'm just gonna try to hit the button to allow you to talk.
Hello, can you hear me?
All right, can you hear me, Eric?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello? All right,
Can you hear me?
we're having the same issue as before,
Okay.
where they can probably hear you on that end, but we can't hear you on ours.
Then
If you're
let's do this if we could, please. You have two more people, right?
two more,
You
yes.
ask both of them at the same time, not to just in the
Yep.
chat, give you their number. And Director, if you could come up one
Yes.
one more time.
If the both of you can please leave your phone numbers with us if you're comfortable, that would be the only way that we'd be able to hear you.
I neglected to ask you this question when you were up at the first time. The applicants for these 4 licenses in the district that we sit within.
Yes.
In order to apply to the Cannabis Commission, they have to have an articulated site, right? And
Correct.
in this case, it would be
Yes.
Pawtucket, right? And it would have to be an articulated site that fits, that comports
Right.
with this
Exactly.
ordinance.
Yes.
Right.
And that being said, and just to, and I don't mean to contradict the last speaker on this, but my office has not given any zoning approvals for any zoning locations that they were allowed to go forward
I
with.
just
So,
want to clarify that
absolutely.
part and parcel of asking for the license.
Yeah.
And as we heard, there was 97,
Absolutely.
right? And at best, there's 24 going to be given out. They could not have applied without an articulated site
Correct.
and a zone of compliance
Correct.
document, right?
And to go one step further, Council President, because there was questions on the cannabis controls, frequently asked questions that asked, well, can 2 potential license holders hold on to one site in case one does it, one gets it, one doesn't? No, it's one license holder to one property. So.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you. Do we have somebody online now? Eric Larson.
Mr. Larson,
Yeah.
what is your address, please?
70 Lafayette Street in Pawtucket.
Eric Larson, 70 Lafayette Street.
Thank you, Mr. Larson. Mr. Larson, welcome. We can hear you pretty well, so go ahead.
Okay, thanks so much, everybody. My name is Dr. Eric Larson. I'm Associate Professor of Crime and Justice Studies at UMass Dartmouth. I'm chair of the department as well. I'm a longtime Rhode Island resident and currently live in Pawtucket, as I mentioned. I'm concerned with what I'm understanding to be some of the new amendments regarding the cannabis dispensaries. I concur with what Mr. Dev said before. Congratulations to Pawtucket and the council, the planning commission, for trying to curate what cannabis should look like in Pawtucket. That's exactly what should be happening. And I understand that a lot of cities have to update, their codes given this new scenario. But I absolutely agree with Mr. Devon in stating that my city should do that with care and should try to foment a locally owned, worker-owned, employee-owned, stable and safe cannabis industry and set of cannabis dispensaries. What I understand to be some of the new amendment language is basically requires new applicants to get a special use permit. And I had to miss some of the early meetings tonight, and I'm sorry if I missed some new things. But my sense is that, as you may know, the Rhode Island Cannabis Commission mandates that all of the applicants must have all their zoning approvals by March 1st. And if we have, if these small business people that Mr. Dev is talking about have to try to get that by March 1st, I think most of us know, and from my understanding of the system, it's never going to happen here in a month and a half, basically, because it takes time, to get a special use. So I'm very concerned about that. I'm very concerned about how that's going to lock out people, local entrepreneurs, from an opportunity, which is something that cannabis has. There's a certain kind. I talk a lot about this in my classes. There's a certain kind of stigma about cannabis. But I think it's time to, really think critically about what it is and what the industry can represent. As you may know, nationally, President Trump, is moving to reschedule cannabis and to make it more like alcohol. And a lot of us have been arguing. I've been working with some of these worker-owned cannabis dispensary applicant teams for 2 or 3 years here. They're determined teams. They're in it for the right reasons. They want to support their communities. They want to bring wealth back into their communities. They want to bring wealth back, into Pawtucket, stay there. And the cannabis industry can be a way to do that. But there needs to be a more kind of flexible and open way that the city can curate what it wants cannabis to look like. So some of these dynamic areas can have a cannabis dispensary that the residents support and get well-being from. So, like I said, I missed some of the discussion earlier tonight, but I'm very concerned about this requirement to get a special use permit. So, thanks so much for your time.
Yes. Yes, we're going to dial into them as well.
Yeah.
Great. Janelle, we are going to be calling you right now. If you can answer that, please.
82917. Hello.
Hi. Thank you for calling. I appreciate it.
So I'm going to be brief. My name is Janelle Henry. My address is
Oh, miss, you have to mute.
Her computer.
Yeah, we're hearing you double.
Yeah, please mute your computer.
Hello?
Hello, yeah. And this Zoom thing, I'm not seeing where I can mute myself.
Have you, yeah, are you on you're on the phone? Can you go into a different room?
Absolutely. Hello?
Hello? Oh, that sounds better. Can you spell your name for me,
That
please?
better?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you spell your name for me, please?
Janell.
Janell.
Yes.
And last name?
Henry, Henry.
Okay, and your address, please?
4980 North Main Street, Fall River, Massachusetts.
Okay. That's Janelle Henry, 4980 North Main Street, Fall River, Massachusetts.
Yes.
Hello, Miss Henry. We can hear you now. Thank you.
Too much of your time. I appreciate you allowing me to speak. Much of what my concern was is exactly what Dr. Lawson had said in terms of special use permits and a limited amount of areas in zoning. As you know, the applications for this round of licenses have already been submitted. And in order for us to be able to get any type of special use permits, I think would probably not happen by March 1st, which would be our deadline. And I think that puts us at a disadvantage, and it pretty much may lock out any applicant from being able to get a license for that zone. And other than that, the other thing I wanted to speak to you is I represent Roots of Hope, which is also a cooperative cannabis worker-owned dispensary. And I wanted to just relate to you the sincerity of our worker owners, our founders, in terms of our desire to be a good steward of the area that we are in, to be an asset to your community, to bring generational wealth to the community in Pawtucket. And I just want you to know, to let you know that we are genuine about that.
Do you happen to have a cannabis detail in that keep?
I do not.
Thank you.
You all set?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right, one last time, Director, if you could come up. I know we touched on this briefly in ordinance, with the necessity for two passages of an ordinance. The whole idea is we're doing this now so that your office will be able to entertain any zoning special use permits in time to meet that deadline, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
So, and there's also, that's, yeah. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, okay.
Hey.
I just wanted to clarify that for everybody who's.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks very much. Are we getting feedback here now too? Or not?
No.
Just my ears? Okay, in that case, I am going to declare the public hearing closed at 8:53. And item 1, Council.
Right, sure. Item number 1, I call for approval of the previous minutes from December 10th, 2025 of the Joint Finance Committee and City Property Committee, Finance Committee, Committee on Claims and Pending Suits, Joint Committee on Claims and Pending Suits, and Committee of the Whole of the City Council. Motion to approve.
Been moved by Councilor Russo, second by Councilor Gregor, that approval be given to the minutes of the December 10th, 2025 meetings of the Joint Finance Committee and Property Committee, the Finance Committee, Committee on Claims and Pending Suits, Joint Committee on Claims and Pending Suits, and the Committee of the Whole City Council. Any concerns, amendments, deletions, additions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item number 2, I call for approval of the consent agenda and correspondence.
Moved by Councilor Ruja, second by Councilor Moreno, the approval be given to item 2, the consent agenda and correspondence. Are there any items the councilors would like to address individually? Nobody on my left? On my right? I am going to briefly address L and M. With the exception of L and M, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. L and M are related. L is a communication from Randy Buck, the interim superintendent of school superintendent, to Tracy Giron, the director of administration, requesting an extension of the Pawtucket School Department's fiscal 25 audit. And in tandem with that is a communication from the mayor, Donald R. Grebian, to David Bergantino, the auditor, Rhode Island Auditor General, regarding a request for an extension for the city's fiscal 25 audit. So these two things are tied together. And the school department is and has been for quite some time in fiscal disarray. And that's not a swipe at the superintendent. I think he's doing the best he can with some limited resources there. My understanding is that he's been very agreeable to working with the city's finance folks and administration to try to get these things fixed. While I applaud that, the request for an extension for the third year in a row now to finish their audit requires the city now to reach out to the Rhode Island Auditor General and ask him or his office yet again for a third straight extension. I just wanted to bring that up. It's 3 straight years, right, that we've had to ask for an extension because we can't submit ours until we've got theirs to bake into it. I know the school committee reorganized last night, thankfully. And they have a new chair and a new deputy chair. But I don't know how many weeks ago, maybe 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, a couple meetings ago, they had a presentation from a hired accounting firm that suggested they could have a 7 million, 9 million, 11 million, 13 million, depends on who you're talking to, deficit for next year. And I just struggle to figure how that could possibly be known when they haven't even closed their books for fiscal 25. It's just beyond me to be telling this city that because of their lack of abilities in accounting for their money, that there could be a huge deficit, and immediately talked about that deficit in terms of how many teachers would be laid off. Never a discussion about how to cut costs anywhere else. And that was done after nobody else had heard anything about this, but at least one television station was told to come on down and listen to what disaster is befalling Pawtucket. It's just very disconcerting. It's not in anybody's best interest, not in the city's best interest, not in the school department's best interest, not in the taxpayers' best interest or the voters' best interest to be running around when you don't know where a single nickel of your money is and alerting everybody to the sky is falling. So I appreciate that they have reorganized. I appreciate that Superintendent Buck, who I find to be a very capable guy, very willing to work in concert with the city side. And the director and deputy director of administration, I know, are working closely with them as is our acting financial director. So it's disappointing that for 3 straight years now, we've had to ask for an extension, and that it is entirely the school department's making. But I do think that we're moving in the right direction, and better late than never. But this is right as we're coming into the budget season. So hopefully, deputy director is out there. Hopefully, the city side can help them get those books in order as rapidly as possible so that we can start planning the fiscal 27 budget. So, Committeewoman Bonolo is the new chair, and Committeewoman Grant is the new deputy chair. So that was all I had on those items.
All right, number 3, communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grebian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council. Submits the following appointment as a member of the Personnel Board for confirmation. Joseph Shoddick Jr., 58 Flint Street in Pawtucket. Term expires first Monday in January of 2031. Motion to approve on a roll call vote.
The move by Councilor Moran, second by Councilor Arujo, that a communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grebian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following appointment as a member of the Personnel Board. Joseph F. Shoddick Jr., 58 Flint Street, Pawtucket, for a term that expires the first Monday of January in 2031. The motion is for a confirmation on a roll call vote. Any discussion? Clerk will call a roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor. Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Council Rubio.
Yes.
Council Scoviac. 8-0.
Item number 4, a communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grebian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following appointment as a member of the Riverfront Commission for confirmation. Michael A. Lafond of 190 Littlefield Street, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, 02861, term to expire the first Monday in June 2026 to fill the unexpired term of Patrick J. McBurney. I move to approve on a roll call vote.
Second.
Been moved by Councilor Rubio, second by both Council Moreno, excuse me, and Arujo, that a communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grebian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following appointment as a member of the Riverfront Commission. Michael A. Lafond, 190 Littlefield Street, for a term that expires the first Monday in June of 2026. This is to fill the unexpired term of Patrick J. McBurney. Any discussion on the motion for confirmation on a roll call vote? In that case, the clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Aye.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor. Yes. Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Yes. Council Rubio.
Yes.
Council Scoviac. 8-0.
Item number 5, communication from His Honor Mayor Donald Grebian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following reappointment as a member of the Advisory Commission on Arts and Culture for confirmation. Advisory Commission on Arts and Culture, Isaac M. Poster, 957 Main Street, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, 02860. Term expires the first Monday in October 2028. I go for a roll call.
It's been moved by Councilor Ruzo, Councilor Gregor, seconded by Councilor Stacoviak, that a communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grebian to the honorable members of Pawtucket City Council submitting the following reappointment as a member of the Advisory Commission on Arts and Culture. Isaac Impanza, 957 Main Street, for a term that expires the first Monday in October 2028. The motion is for confirmation on a roll call vote. Is there any discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Aye.
Council Ruzo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor. Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Yes. Council Rubio.
Yes.
Council Scoviac. 8-0.
Item number 6, communication from His Honor Mayor Donald Grebian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following reappointment as a member of the Advisory Commission on Arts and Culture for confirmation. Advisory Commission on Arts and Culture, Damon Combs, 280 Washington Street, Apartment 410, Providence, Rhode Island, 02903. Term expires first Monday in October 2028. Call for roll call vote for confirmation.
It's been moved by Counselor Gregor, second by Counselor Moreno. That a communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grebian to the honorable members of Pawtucket City Council submitting the following reappointment as a member of the Advisory Commission on Arts and Culture. Demont Combs, 280 Washington Street, Apartment 410, Providence, Rhode Island, for a term that expires the first Monday in October 2028. The motion is for confirmation on a roll call vote. Is there any discussion? Counselor.
Just to confirm, does the Advisory Commission on Arts and Culture require folks to live in Pawtucket?
I don't believe it does, and the fact that this is a reappointment, I would assume that is the case.
Gotcha.
But
Okay.
good question, but I think it's kind of a far-reaching thing.
I'm sorry,
It's advisory, so.
Right.
doesn't that, they could live anywhere.
Yeah, it's only if they control money, actually control money, then they have to be a resident, but if it's an advisory commission, they don't.
Okay, thank you.
Good question, though. So, okay, clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Russo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yes.
Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Council Rubio.
Yes.
Council Scobiak. 8-0.
Item number 7 is a communication from His Honor Mayor Donald Gravian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following reappointment as a member of the Juvenile Hearing Board for confirmation. Juvenile Hearing Board, Stephen Cleto Garcia, 8 Armistice Boulevard, Apartment 3L, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, 02860. Term expires the first Monday in December 2028. I call for approval on a roll call vote.
Been moved by
Second.
Councilor Codere, second by Councilor Rouge, that a communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grebian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following reappointment as a member of the Juvenile Hearing Board, Steven Cleto Garcia, 8 Armistice Boulevard, Apartment 3L, for a term that expires the first Monday in December of 2028. The motion is for confirmation on a roll call vote. Is there any discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Russo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yes.
Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Council Rubio.
Yes.
Council Scobiak. 8-0.
Item 8 is a communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Caribbean to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following reappointment as a member of the purchasing board for confirmation. Lisa set of 15 Harding Street for a term expiring the first Monday in January 2029. I move for approval on a roll of
Second.
Councilor Moreno, second. Was that you?
Yes.
Communication. Mayor Donald R. Grebian, honorable member of the Pawtucket City Council, reappointment member of the Purchasing Board, east of the set 15 Harding Street, the term that expires first Monday in January 2029. The motion is for confirmation on a roll call vote. Is there any discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Russo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yes.
Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Council Rubio.
Yes.
Council Scobiak. 8-0.
Council President, if I may, before I read item number 9, I'd like to have the Green Infrastructure Center. They've just completed their report for the tree canopy analysis and strategic planning process for the city of Pawtucket, and it's a very detailed report, and I think it's very it's a very nice thing that kind of it's going to give people what benefits of the tree in the city, tree canopy, potential planting areas, and they did a whole study on it. It's pretty comprehensive, and I think it's a wonderful report. So I'd like to invite Molly Henry, who's taken part in that, working with the RIDM, and let me see, this was it was funded through a grant by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Forest Service, and Rhode Island Division of Forest Environment. So for the next council meeting, present it to the council.
You'd like to have her for like pre-council for the next meeting?
Yes, come in and present it to the council.
Bless you. Okay. I don't know that we'd have to take a vote on that, and we'd have to amend the agenda anyway, but if you hand that off to me, or at least just send me, write it down, whatever it is, I'll make sure that, tell you what, can you forward a clean copy of that to the clerk's office, and I'll make sure it gets on for pre-council.
Yeah, well, it's actually in the city website. But I can certainly forward it to
All right,
you.
well,
Yeah. So
you're saying it would be easy enough for him to just, for the clerk's office to find it on our website, right?
yeah, it is.
Okay,
Yeah.
then click,
Under the newsletter. So it's the 2020. So make sure.
Come on, Rick, you read that newsletter.
September 2025 is when the report was generated. It's called Strategic Tree Canopy Plan for the City of Pawtucket.
The street canopy?
Yeah, street canopy. It's strategic tree canopy. Trees.
Tree canopy. Tree or three?
Three.
Tree.
Yeah.
Tree. Yeah. Okay.
Rhymes with
Liz knows what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
At least somebody's reading the newsletter, Liz.
Yeah, no, yeah, I just happened to go on it because I don't think it was, like advertised, and I think the community and the residents of Pawtucket should know that this report was done, and so they can get involved. They currently also have a what's called a Pawtucket Green Life community meeting, which I've joined actually, and I was a part of last year when they were doing that as well. So it's a great group of folks going around, trying to improve the city. Public engagement and the green infrastructure in the city, which we very much need. So,
all right, thank you.
Okay, now to item number 9, communication from His Honor Mayor Donald Grebian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council, submitting the following reappointment as member of the Public Library Board of Trustees for confirmation. Public Library Board of Trustees, Camille Carino, 30 Capitol Ave, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, 02860. Term expires first Monday in January 2029. I call for confirmation of roll call vote.
Moved by Councilor Gregor, second by Councilor Moreno, the communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grebian to the honorable members of Pawtucket City Council, submitting the following reappointment as a member of the Public Library Board of Trustees. Camille C. Carino, 30 Capwell Avenue, for a term that expires the first Monday in January of 2029. The motion is for confirmation on a roll call vote. Is there any discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Councilor Rujo.
Yes.
Councilor Codere.
Yes.
Councilor Gregor.
Yes.
Councilor Moran.
Yes.
Councilor Moreno. Yes. Councilor Rubio.
Yes.
Councilor Sokoviak. 8-0.
Item number 10 is a communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grebian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council, submitting the following reappointment as a member of the Planning Commission for confirmation. Christopher Hans 150 Walcott Street for a term expiring the first Monday in January 2031. I move for approval on a roll call vote.
Moved by Councilor Moreno, second by Councilor Stacoviak. The communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grebian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council, submitting the following reappointment as a member of the Planning Commission. Christopher Fonts, 150 Walcott Street, for a term that expires the first Monday in January of 2031. Motion for confirmation on a roll call vote. Is there any discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Councilor Rujo.
Yes.
Councilor Codere.
Yes.
Councilor Gregor.
Yes.
Councilor Moran.
Yes.
Councilor Moreno. Councilor Rubio.
Yes.
Councilor Sokoviak. 8-0.
Item number 11, a communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grebian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council, submitting the following reappointment as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals for confirmation. Zoning Board of Appeals, Russell J. Furlan, P.E. 126 Slater Park Avenue, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, 02861. Term expires the first Monday in January 2031. Oh, that sounds. I move to approve a roll call vote, please.
Moved by Councilor Rubio, second by Councilor Codere, that a communication from His Honor Mayor Donald R. Grebian to the honorable members of the Pawtucket City Council submitting the following reappointment as a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Russell J. Furlan, P.E. 126 Park Avenue, Slater Park Avenue, for a term that expires the first Monday in January of 2031. The motion is for confirmation on a roll call vote. Is there any discussion? Clerk will call roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Councilor Rujo.
Yes.
Councilor Codere.
Yes.
Councilor Gregor.
Yes.
Councilor Moran.
Yes.
Councilor Moreno.
Yes.
Councilor Rubio.
Yes.
Councilor Kubiak. 8-0.
Number 12, the Finance Committee and City Property Committee submit the following resolution with a recommendation for approval. Resolution authorizing the City of Pawtucket to enter into a 3-year lease agreement with Blackstone Valley Advocacy Center for use of the parking lot at 1202 Newport Avenue, Assessors Plat 1, Lot 790. Motion is to approve on a roll call vote.
It's been moved by Councilor Moran, second by Councilor Property Chair Mr. Koviak, that the Finance Committee and the City Property Committee submit the following, the following resolution with a recommendation for approval. It's a resolution authorizing the City of Pawtucket to enter into a 3-year lease agreement with the Blackstone Valley Advocacy Section for the use of the parking lot at 1202 Newport Avenue, which would be Assessors Plat 11, Lot 790. The motion is for approval on a roll call vote. Ma'am, I know you're here from Advocacy Section. I don't know your name, though. Would you like to come up? Tony Marie, would you like to come up and do you have anything to say?
Not about the lease.
I feel okay. Okay. We know that you worked out some things in finance and in property about the lease, and I think all the committee members are appreciative. So thank you.
Thank you.
You might as well stay there, I guess.
May as well.
Okay, clerk will call a roll on item 12.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Councilor Rujo.
Yes.
Councilor Codere.
Yes.
Councilor Gregor.
Yes.
Councilor Moran.
Yes.
Councilor Moreno. Councilor Rubio.
Yes.
Councilor Kubiak. 8-0.
Number 13, the Finance Committee returns the following resolution with a recommendation for approval. Resolution in support of legislation authorizing the City of Pawtucket to exempt from taxation the real and personal property owned by BVAC at 727 Central Avenue and 1202 Newport Avenue. Motion is to approve this on a roll call vote.
Moved by Councilor Moran, second by Councilor Rubio, that the Finance Committee returns the following resolution with a recommendation for approval. The resolution in support of legislation authorizing the City of Pawtucket to exempt from taxation the real and personal property owned by BVAC at 727 Central Avenue and 1202 Newport Avenue. Excuse me, the motion is for approval on a roll call vote. Tony Marie, what would you like to have us, what would you like to say?
Actually, I'd just like to thank the members of the Finance and Property Committees because this has been a bit of a process and we learned a lot from it. And so we're happy to be able to have our admin headquarters in Pawtucket.
Well, thank you. I will say the finance chair worked very closely with you. You must have done something to convince him because like me, he is grown to be adamantly opposed to exempting taxes. It's just, it's difficult to do, but you've worked with him. I think your group has paid $68,000 in back taxes.
Mhm.
Is that right? And I think that went a long way toward convincing him. I don't see that I will be voting at some point past tonight for any further tax exemptions. I just don't think it's in the it benefits the rest of the taxpayers. But in this instance, and we've gotten the back taxes that were not yours in the first place, right?
Right.
Paid, and the lease agreement for the use of the parking lot. I think it's a benefit on both both sides and for both parties.
you,
So
President.
I will be voting yes, but this is probably the last tax exemption I will be voting yes on. So
And
thank
I just want to add that I think the lease agreement went a long way into getting the next one done too as well. You know what I mean? So we thank you for working with us, but that was very helpful. I know with Chairman Wildenhain and all, but thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Clerk will call a roll.
President Mercer,
Yes.
Council Rujo,
Yes.
Council Codere,
Yes.
Council Gregor,
Yes.
Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno, Council Rubio,
Yes.
Council Sokoviak, 8-0.
Number 14, the ordinance committee returns the following ordinance. An ordinance and amendment of chapter 410 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pawtucket, 1996, entitled zoning, text, table of use and special use, permit requirements for retail cannabis establishments. And this comes before us for first passage, motion to approve on a roll call vote.
Second.
I don't know if we have to amend those.
Do we amend it?
Is it already amended?
Do we take it up to amend? We've got to amend it here, but do we?
You take it up, and then after the second, then you have your discussion, and then you can move the amendment at any time.
Okay, so it's been, the ordinance committee returns the following ordinance, an ordinance amendment of chapter 410 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Pawtucket, 1996, entitled zoning, text, table of use and special use permit requirements for retail cannabis. It's been moved by Councilor Moran and second by Councilor Codere and Councilor Gregor that we take it up for first passage. Is there any discussion on this motion, on this ordinance? Councilor, Chairman.
I mean, there's not a lot to add. As you know, we had a committee meeting that lasted around an hour or so for the ordinance committee. I want to thank Director Johnson and also Council Milos that was there. He helped out as well, but we vetted it out very thoroughly at the ordinance committee, and Director Johnson was here earlier to speak at the public hearing. But again, this is regarding retail sales only of cannabis. And again, as Council President alluded to earlier, it's kind of was handed down to us. So there's really not much we could do, but we wanted to get ahead of it. Council Milo said that in the committee meeting. So we wanted to at least put an ordinance out there, certainly for discussion. And I think we should approve this one with the amendment going forward, at least to regulate this as best we can and put some control in it. It's again, as Council President alluded earlier, it's 6 zones in the state. 4 locations per zone. That's a total of 24. We have 9 communities in our particular zone 6, and only 4 can be allowed. So again, we don't know. There's 97 applications that are in the state right now that they're reviewing. And so we don't know as far as who would get the 4 in this particular zone. Would Pawtucket get all 4? Maybe none. Maybe they get 1, maybe they get 2. But again, this seems to set the regulations and control that we need. It also protects the residents and the community. It talks about, public safety for traffic. I think it mentions that there'd be a traffic study done as well. It gives municipal oversight for the city. Also, it helps with, again, like I said, protecting the neighbors with some of the buffer zones that they put in there. So, I mean, I'm certainly for it with the certainly added amendment, but I think it's something that we need, and it made sense to do this now. We didn't want to wait any longer, so.
Any further discussion with the understanding that eventually the councilor will make the amendment proposal? Anybody else on the matter? Councilor?
Yes, as a member of the ordinance committee, I've expressed my concerns regarding this ordinance. In particular, I'm concerned about the residents in terms of the residential zones, distance and buffer standards. In particular, I know we did the amendment relative to the 500 feet and clarifying the public and private school education, kindergarten, which is fine with me. And I'm talking here relative to just find the ordinance. Section X, marijuana cultivation distribution, X5 G1. So that's been amended as proposed. I had suggested also in terms of the buffer zone concerns, how it seems to overburden people of low economic means. They have these sort of establishments taking on more burden relative to these kinds of places being so close to the residents. And it says I had proposed going from 400 feet from a residential zoning district or a property with residential use to 1,000 feet. And I couldn't get anyone to agree with me with that. However, I'd like to propose again that it be amended to 600 feet, 400 to 600 feet. Because I think the quality of life, of the residents matters a great deal to me. And I'd like to see conditions being put forth to prevent what's the sort of things I've seen with Mother Earth in my district. So it is a motion, yes.
Yeah. Have a second.
Yeah, I'll second that, but I haven't seen.
Okay, I base it's been moved by council directors that we amend section 5.
Three.
5, 3. Currently, cannabis retail or hybrid cannabis retail shall be located in 400 feet of residential zone district or property with residential use of your proposing. So it's 400 with. That's the motion, second by Councilor Kuboviac for purpose of discussion. Is there any discussion on proposed amendment?
I'm very much on Councilor Gregor's side that, protecting the resident. It's hard in Pawtucket because I feel like our residential areas blend into everything else so easily and so quickly. But I also applaud him for being the only one out of all of us that has experience with one of the dispensary in his district. Now that I'm thinking about it, if the distance is 500, I know you're saying 600, Councilor Gregor, why can't we match it for residential area for 500 and 500? If it's 500 from a school that's serving our residents from K to 12, why can't we also say that this, instead of 400, it's also 500, sort of meet them halfway there from the 600? Now that I'm thinking about it, why doesn't the ordinance just say 500 from a school, 500 from a residential area?
Like the passage.
Yeah, I want to ask him.
Why 500 for school and 400 for residential? Is there a reason why we could not logically match that to 500?
No, so basically the only thing the council by state statute cannot increase is the distance from a school. You can decrease it from a distance from a school, but you cannot increase it. Otherwise, those other buffers are in play. So yeah.
Why would it have been?
Yeah, why was it 400? It was just I compare. Yeah. No, absolutely. I just reviewed some other ordinances, and 400 was there. A couple of them were only 200, so I did increase it to 4 under my review. So again, no, it's not.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Consider a friendly amendment.
Now that I think about it, we're to match the two.
Yes, I would.
In that case, we consider that a friendly amendment that moved by Councilor Gregor, seconded by Councilor Kuboviac, that we amend 5G3 cannabis retailers and hybrid cannabis retail shall be located within 500 residential zoning district or property of a residential. Vote on that amendment, your amendment, and we have further discussion if needed. We'll vote on as. So, is there any discussion on Councilor Gregor's amendment, seconded by Councilor Kuboviac of amending the word 400 feet to 5?
Yeah, I had a question. Director, you don't have to. You don't. I mean, you can just stay there. Do you not have a problem going from 4 to 5? I just want to make sure. Would that limit anything, or you're not? You don't have a problem with 500? All right. It'll just increase the number of parcels that may take out of play for the ordinance. I totally rely on the council's judgment on that. There's no like I said, there's like 32 parcels that were eligible as it is. They'll just reduce it a little bit more. Couldn't tell you without.
It may or may not, right? I mean,
Exactly.
it could.
It could not. Yeah. Exactly. Correct. Yeah.
Meeting, I did come up, but I caught most of it, that 1,000 was like off the table. I know that didn't get a second. I know the counselor was saying 600, and then as he was saying, I just thought about it. I'm like, well, if schools are 500,
yep.
Why not with people who are just in their house, same thing. So I think matching it to 500 and 500 just makes a nice smooth point of view, I think.
And excuse me, ultimately, most of the schools are in residential zones too. So
yeah. Okay. Councilor DeRujo.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it, it's a 25% increase versus what would the other one be, 150% increase in the thing. So, you know, I think Councilor Skoviak had also, you know, brought up a point to match those, and Councilor Gregor is amenable to that, so I will support that.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any further discussion on that particular amendment? In that case, do we need a roll call on the amendment? Clerk will call a roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Councilor Rujo.
Yes.
Councilor Codere.
Yes.
Councilor Gregor.
Yes.
Councilor Moran.
Yes.
Councilor Moreno. Councilor Rubio.
Yes.
Councilor Skoviak. 8-0.
And Councilor Moran, are you advancing the amendment for 5G1?
Yes. I'd like to make a motion to approve an amendment to 5G1. Presently, it states 500 feet from an educational institution. And then I would like to propose the following amendment to change that to 500 feet from a pre-existing public or private school providing education in kindergarten or any of grades 1 through 12. And make a motion to approve
And
that.
that amendment was approved in committee, correct?
Correct.
All right. So it's been moved by Councilor Moran, second by both Councilor Gregor and Councilor Codere, that item 5, section 5G1, now read 500 feet from a pre-existing public or private school providing education in kindergarten or any of grades 1 through 12. Is there any discussion on that amendment? Clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Councilor Rujo.
Yes.
Councilor Codere.
Yes.
Councilor Gregor. Councilor Moran.
Yes.
Councilor Moreno. Councilor Rubio.
Yes.
Councilor Skoviak. 8-0.
That's the score.
Yeah.
I do. And please guide me through this because it's been a long night. But as far as I'm with the whole signage and everything that's been happening in the highway, but locally, is there anything that prevents them from advertising within a certain amount of distance to our schools or residential areas that should be or could be included in this ordinance?
You mean not on property, but elsewhere?
Correct. So it just, anyone who has access to an actual sign, right? A billboard locally, some buildings have like random small ones that they
Like
put out,
flyers and stuff.
whether it's flyers, but do we have anything to Councilor Clovis's point that could mitigate the way they market to our within our community?
So as for off-site signing, other than billboards, I believe the ordinance is prohibits that. I was if you're talking about
marketing.
Well, flyers and marketing, that's not in the zoning. That's other
Billboards.
Yeah. And to the councilor's point earlier regarding the signs on the highway, those are those billboards are either pre-existing non-conforming or have had, and I wasn't here when any of these billboards were put up, and without Councilor Milos being here, we want to make sure we're not going on a slippery slope, kind of like with political signs, when we start restricting content and not Yeah.
We all know there are two, if not three, billboards on Route 95, both in Pawtucket, right?
Mhm.
The original cannabis language prohibited.
Yeah, I was familiar with that one.
License of advertising on buildings. It
Mhm.
didn't, couldn't include Massachusetts. Massachusetts was advertising directly on the highway, directly in front of a Rhode Island license. And they couldn't. So they actually went to something had that change. And it was good for use, good organic kind of thing. If cannabis advertising on a billboard on 95 is okay for that guy in Massachusetts, how can it not be? First license. I can't.
Right, but I'm not talking about the actual billboards. I'm talking about actual signage that businesses are able to put up.
On the building, so it does say,
Building.
a reasonable signage,
So that's-
right?
Yeah. that's
And
what
that
I'm
would
saying.
have to fall within the same signage
Guidelines.
guidelines for
As
for
the
zoning,
ordinance
correct?
says, yes, correct.
Not dictate.
Correct, yeah, but it is part of a special use permit review that we, either the zoning board, I believe it would go to the planning commission under a unified development. They would review the signing as well as part of their review, so, and that would be.
Planning commission.
It would be planning commission because it's under unified review, but again, they would have to submit the signing and they could have a discussion at that time about what kind of signing they're putting up.
And the electronic signs.
Yes.
I can recall both, at least two of the schools, for sure, Goff had to actually go before the planning commission and zoning.
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
there. So, we have existing signage.
Right, regulations.
Regulations.
Guess I just
Content's a
heard
different
content,
story.
yeah, right.
But we can't regulate content.
But there is and
This is the United States.
Yeah. There is a city ordinance, whether it's not enforced by zoning, but regarding leaving flyers on people's cars and all that, there is an ordinance against that. Unfortunately, it does not fall under zoning. I believe it's under maybe the police, but there is an ordinance against doing that. Yeah, for anybody, not just cannabis or anything like that, events and all that kind of stuff. There's an ordinance against that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you have a question for him?
No.
Are you all set, Councilman?
Yes, I'm all set. Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, we have existing signage ordinance already, so those are applicable either way. My concern, my district is the only one that has currently the cannabis, and my community and people feel the current owner of Mother Earth has not been a good steward to the community at all. My community finds it deeply offensive, and I don't think it's a good look for Pawtucket, as I stated in the ordinance. The people coming in from out of state, this is their first impression of Pawtucket, is weed dealing. Is that what this concern is related with? Is it a cannabis business or is it a weed dealer? Might as well be on the streets, right? So it's a terrible look. It's offensive to my community, and that's my issue with a lot of that signage. And we need to implement whatever current ordinances we have relative to the number of signs and size. Yes, it's a little more difficult in terms of content for First Amendment rights purposes. However, there are other things that can be done. And I would think, when a community is hosting you and you're making money and you're doing well, you should respect the community and not be offensive, which is what the issue is here. So I'm hoping, so that's why I have reservations regarding even the retail cannabis, because I don't want to repeat of that anywhere in the city. So that's all I wanted to say on that.
Gotcha. So I agreed with you in committee and I agree with you now. I don't know if it's necessarily offensive, but I am not,
It is absolutely
I'm not a fan of any of it to begin with. But I do have to ask, have you, this is thrust upon us by the General Assembly. Have you had this discussion with Senator Stewart? I mean, Representative Stewart or Senator Coleman? Those are your two legislative representatives. This happened 3-4 years ago. That is the body that allowed this to happen. That is the body that legalized retail cannabis. So whether you agree with it or don't, it's like everything else that comes down to municipalities from the state house.
Yeah.
That's where your gripe is.
No, my
your
gripe-
your gripe is with the legislature that set up this process. They also thought they were maybe protecting about not advertising on billboards, and suddenly realized that they had a disconnect there, right? First it started with medical, right, with compassion centers, and then it was retail, and the first people that got the ability to sell retail were the established compassion centers. Your outrage is correct, but it's misplaced.
I appreciate your comments, however, I don't agree. So I mean, it's up to the business that's doing this. So, like I said, if a community is hosting you and you're running a business, makes sense that you set up certain standards and that you respect the community. When you're purposely, repeatedly doing that in large signs, even for Christmas, it says, "Oh, it's the time to give a gift of weed." Is that necessary? Is it? You make your point. You got do you need to use certain words to continue to offend our community? So that's my issue with Centennial. It's got nothing to do with the legislation. This was going to come around at one point or another. Mostly in just about every state, it's going to start being regulated on a federal level. These declassified, so we're kind of stuck with it. However, I don't place the blame on the legislation. Place the blame with the business owner. Deeply disappointed. No, I have mentioned to him that it was offensive, and he said, "Oh yeah, I'll take that down." The weed drive-through. I'm not sure how we get approved for a drive-through because it didn't come before the board. I would never approve that. So
no drive-throughs come before us.
Well, exactly. So I'm not sure how they got an approval for a drive-through. Something I'd like to get some answers to. So I've spoken to Solicitor Milos, and he's going to give me the details regarding that because I would like to revisit that.
That is a zoning issue relative to the zoning board of appeals and certain things that are allowed by use. Dunkin' Donuts, McDonald's, they don't come before us either for drive-throughs. It's.
I don't think so. I think we'll have to check that out. I'm pretty sure there's a drive-through permit that comes through the board. So if they get approved for a drive-through, it didn't come to the board. I'm not sure how they get approved. I'm curious about that.
Okay, so is there any further discussion on this amendment as this ordinance as twice amended? Okay, in that case, clerk will call the roll on the ordinance as amended for first passage.
President Mercer,
Yes.
Council Rujo,
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor.
Yeah.
Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Council Rubio.
Yes.
Council Stokoviac. 8-0.
Item number 15, the Committee on Claims and Pending Suits returns the following claim for damages against the city. Boris Sakal for $969.70 for a tire. Motion is to deny on a roll call vote.
Second.
It's been moved by Counselor
Rubio.
Took me a second. Counselor Rubio, second by both Counselors Arujo and Counselor Moreno, that the Committee on Claims and Pending Suits returns the following claim for damages against the city with a recommendation for denial. Boris Sakal in the amount of $969.70 for a tire. And again, the motion, the motion is to deny outright, right? Any discussion on the motion to deny? A yes vote would be yes to deny. Clerk will call the roll.
President Mercer.
Yes.
Council Rujo.
Yes.
Council Codere.
Yes.
Council Gregor. Council Moran.
Yes.
Council Moreno. Council Rubio. Council Stokoviac. 8-0.
No further business coming before the Pawtucket City Council. I make a motion that we adjourn.
Moved by Counselor Ruzo, second by Counselor Rubio, that we adjourn for the night. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you.